Welcome to the Off the Console podcast, the hottest podcast that's all about gaming and tech news and anything nerdy. And this week, we've got some big news to cover. We've got Nvidia becoming the first, $4 trillion company, is that right?
Yes.
We've got an update for the Stop Killing Games movement, and a whole bunch more. And my name's Gardiner. I'm joined by my co-hosts, James and High Tech, and we're joined by our special guest, Muta from Some Ordinary Gamers. How's it going, Muta?
Hey everybody, how's it going, guys? It's good to be on here. I've followed Gardiner here for a bit, and meeting two new guys here as well too. So it's a fun day today, and I like the actual topics you guys had because I've been talking about Stop Killing Games a fair bit, but this Nvidia stuff, man, 4 trillion, dude. It's crazy.
I know.
God, I hate Nvidia.
Jeez.
I've been following your channel, Muta, as well, and I was shocked the first time you left a comment on my video, and I was like, wow, this guy actually knows who I am. So that's pretty neat.
Dude, I used to have like you had like this Linux Teach series where so when I was like setting up my art for a while, I used to just be in the terminal all day. You know what I mean? Like I used to set up my auto mounts through like the FSTAT folder until I found like one of your videos where you're like auto mounting with a GUI, and I was like, oh my god, it's that simple.
Yeah.
Oh, you tell me I don't have to go through the. Dude, I had like, you know that Best Buy meme where the guy's like, oh my god, that was literally me. I'm like, I cannot believe it was that easy. Like my wife was in the room. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, honey, I just found out how to make my life so much more easy.
Just had a Linux gasm.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, it's that easy. What the heck? Because at that point I was like, man, you know what I miss about Windows? The goddamn user interface sometimes. It makes it so easy. And then here it was. I was like, yes.
There's a lot. I should go back to doing that because there's a lot of things that people don't realize you can do like with a GUI that people think, oh, on Linux you have to do it with a terminal. So I should probably
like fucking Flatpak permissions.
Everyone, dude, I've always loved, like, anytime I cover like a video regarding Linux, I'm like, let me show you the easiest way like I have to show it the laziest way possible. Because you gotta remember, it's like, there's somebody in the comments who's like, why are you showing it the lazy way? You know, it's just like one terminal command. I'm like, all right there, Morpheus from the Matrix. I get it. You know how to manipulate your system. I'm just talking to the guy that's scared to death loading up the terminal, okay? Because it is scary to somebody new, right? It's like, well, what is this 1990s MS-DOS prompt that I've been given?
Yeah.
It also prevents a lot of comments of people just begging for help.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing like a Steam Deck video, people are going to be like, I don't want to type all that stuff in with the trackpads.
Right. Well, to your point, High Tech, Flat Seal is the answer to managing permissions on Flatpaks with a GUI. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah, I know of that. But
Okay.
I think they implemented it recently in KDE, in an update to KDE Plasma. You can go into settings and change it like directly in Plasma itself without Flat Seal.
Yeah, it's baffling to me that GNOME hasn't done that. Maybe they have, but I haven't seen it. I think Bazaar now does it too, actually. Like managing
Bazaar?
permissions. Yeah, which is like the new... it's like the replacement for Discover Store for Bazite. I don't know if they've done that yet, but I think it might be on the roadmap. Anyway, we like to start the show with talking about what we've done over the week, whether it's the games we've played or any like cool projects we've been working on. And Muta, you're the guest, so what have you been playing this week?
I have been trying to platinum that Death Stranding 2 game. So I've just been so into it. Like I remember like when the first game came out, I was just fully in. I probably didn't leave my like house for a week. I was like, I gotta finish this game. Same thing with the second title. Absolutely trying to like chomp through it. It is the best package delivery game ever.
Would you say it's Game of the Year?
Honestly, like if that new Ghost of like that Tsushima game or whatever doesn't like hit as hard, probably would be my Game of the Year. No, actually, Game of the Year might be like System Shock 2. I just played that in like a sitting. I bought the remastered version. And I was like, I'm going to play this for an hour. And then the sun came up, and I'm like, well, I'm already at the end. Might as well, you know?
Dude, on the topic of Ghost of Yote, I think it was, someone was complaining about how it looks like it's kind of the same. I mean, it's a sequel after all. But then they also mentioned how they want to expand Jin Sakai's story. Like, I'm pretty sure spoiler alerts, he dies in the first game, doesn't he?
I don't think he dies in the first game, but like the game takes place like hundreds of years later, so technically, yeah, he should be dead. You know?
Okay, yeah, okay,
I don't think
okay,
he
yeah,
should
yeah.
be alive.
That's awesome.
Not with that attitude.
No. What was the life expectancy back in Edo, Japan? Like what? 40 years, 50 years?
Well,
Couldn't
you know
have
what
been
they
super
say, man.
long.
Well, you know what they say, man. Japanese people have long life expectancies.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're a samurai fighting with swords and shit, you're probably gonna cut that down a little bit.
Pun
I
intended.
think that's just a skill. I think that's just a skill issue.
Yeah, well, he almost dies like 4 times in that game. So
That was such a good game. I remember when that dropped on the PS4, the one thing that blew my mind was like, how do they make the load time so fast? I remember like fast traveling in it. I'm like, oh, 2 seconds. Wow. How do they achieve like SSD loading back on like these mechanical drives?
Yeah. I don't think I played that on the PS4.
Yeah. So
PS4
funny story.
was mind blowing.
Yeah. So funny story. The actual island of Tsushima named the entirety of Sucker Punch Games ambassadors to the island.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty cool.
Nice. High Tech, what have you been playing this week?
That's a good question. I've been playing. It's a game called Dungeons and Degenerate Gamblers. Like, it's like Balat. All right, so it's not like Balatro with but it's like blackjack. But you essentially build your own deck, and you get cards like, you get like 21 of hearts and shit and stuff like that. But you can also get like Pokemon cards, quote unquote Pokemon cards. Yeah, it's like a duel to the death. You have to essentially reduce your enemy's HP, and it's calculated by the difference in values of blackjack, of like the cards you draw and stuff. And coincidentally, I did go to a casino yesterday and I played some actual blackjack, and I made like $90.
Okay, I was going to ask if you stole the house. We have a running joke that he is like incredibly lucky and manages to like count cards and stuff as well. So.
Wait, at the casino? Bro, I wish I had you in Vegas, man. I really did.
Dude. Yo, hit me up next time, man. You know, my older brother went to Vegas to watch the Mayweather versus Floyd fight, and he said it was a waste of money. But he went to Vegas, so it was worth it.
No, I was at like the Wynn. I went there with like the wife for the first time, and it was just like, I cannot believe like every casino in Vegas is just open 24/7. You know, like they're just ready to have you like siphon your cash out. So it was like the first time where I'm like, I'm going to play some blackjack on it. I think I lasted, I want to say maximum 6-7 minutes before I was like, well, the money I just put down is completely gone. Like there's just, there's no winning here.
Dang, there are some house rules that you do have to know. For example, dealers must stay, they have to essentially stand at 17 or above. So if they're at 16, then they have to hit, even though they're most likely gonna like bust. It's just a rule. And also the strategies for figuring out what to do when, say, for example, they have a face card running. Because if they have a face card up, then your best option is to try to hit, because they could have like a 20 under there.
See, sometimes you think you'll win in a blackjack because it's like you feel like there's like a method to it, you know? It's just like anybody that tells me it's like roulette has a strategy, I'm like, how do you like mind control the ball? You know, like how do you get it to land where you want? At least with blackjack, you kind of think you can win. And then, like, because you're in a casino, you're always, like, against the most intense odds. So it's always just, like, that's the one game that I jump in thinking that I'll make money on. Always end up losing, 99% of the time. Like, one of my favorite things is, like, loading up GTA Online and, like, playing the casino with my friends. Because, like, we'll make, like, millions in a night doing heists. And then we'll lose the millions in the night because I'm just like, you know, I think I can make it in blackjack. I think I can. I put these like 50 large bets on it. I'm like, I think I can beat it. And then I'm like, you know, a casino already makes you lose like every step of the way. Imagine if the casino was run by Rockstar Games. Then you really don't have a chance.
I don't know, man. I feel like it'd be a little more fair if it was run by Rockstar Games.
Oh, but, man, you should see the Diamond Casino in Los Santos. It is like they will insure. I think they must have hired like experts. Like remember like a few months ago there was or years ago there was like a report where like they hired psychologists like to like find dark patterns in games. I really think Rockstar is the one that like landed it the best when they were making a casino, because they're like, how do we make this addictive gambling in our video game? And it really is like super addictive gambling. Like it's the only game that I ever have played where like my buddy who's in Argentina has to use a VPN all the time because they actually go through like gambling laws in GTA Online apparently if you're in like other parts of the world. So I don't know.
didn't know
it's
that.
it's really intense. Like even every single like time you go to a slot machine in that game, they'll give you like return to player percentage. I'm like, it really does feel like a real casino, except run by the scummiest live service publisher that I just can't seem to shake off.
Don't worry, they'll have you back for GTA 6.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Come on now. I can't say that I won't get GTA 6. That's just a blatant lie. That game's gonna be like game of the year next year easily.
It's not coming out till 2027, man. They're gonna keep delaying it.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's right.
probably.
They got to keep delaying them, otherwise we're not going to get any game releases in 2026.
I mean, that game looks... Actually, like, that game looks, like, still so good. Like, every time I see a screenshot of it, I'm surprised that it is running on a PS5. Like, I'm really genuinely blown away, because I saw, like, Digital Foundry, like, talk about the ray tracing in it, and it really does look like a screenshot that I would have captured with path tracing on, like, Cyberpunk, and that alone needs, like, what, a 4090 and above? I'm just like, I don't even know how they're achieving that level of fidelity on a PS5. Like, the engineers that work on that engine at Rockstar, magicians.
I think we'll see when the game comes out, assuming it doesn't get delayed multiple times.
Yeah.
And generally, like, with Rockstar stuff, like, anything they show in trailers usually just gets upgraded, at least historically. So I don't know how it can change for this, but... I mean, when you're making a game for, like, what, over 10 years in one of the biggest franchises in the world, it's like, thank God we're not Game Freak fans, because if this was a Game Freak production, oh boy, this would look like they wouldn't have moved past the PlayStation 2 era visual fidelity. But,
I don't know, man.
yeah,
Have you seen that trailer for the Game Freak game that they're publishing?
Oh, yeah, the one they're doing on Xbox, but not on the Nintendo platform? Yeah. Yeah, then they do great. As soon as you leave Nintendo's camp, it's like, well, now you're able to just innovate like crazy.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, I should mention, I don't endorse gambling for all the kids that are watching. I really doubt there's any kids watching this, but, like, just in case, don't gamble, kids, because you're gonna lose.
Yeah. James, are you a gambler, James?
No. I go to Vegas and I take advantage of everyone losing their money and staying in the nice hotels. So I just go and eat and just do everything else.
Oh, so
yeah.
So you're like the leecher on the torrent. I love that shit.
Pretty much.
Never seen, boys.
Whoa. I've seeded a few things in my life. Let's just say that. So
I have a rule for seeding, okay? Like if I've torrented for 6 hours, I'll seed for 3. Why not?
I see Linux distro images.
Yeah. It depends though. Like if I go to the Peerless and I see a whole bunch of like 15 kilobytes a second, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'm out of here, dude. All these assholes limiting, get out of here.
That's funny.
Yes, I'm
James,
Vegas's leech.
Nice. James, what have you been playing this week?
Well, a certain game dropped another set of worlds that I've been talking about. Astrobots has more worlds that they dropped, so I started playing that again. And then
Wait, they got more free content?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I gotta update it.
They still keep on dropping updates, like it's crazy. They said they weren't going to.
I heard one of the worlds was a Final Fantasy world. They finally have Cloud from Final Fantasy VII in Astrobot.
Yeah. Yep. Like they really have a lot of characters in that. It's really fun. Honestly, I think you'd like a high tech. But yeah, been playing that, playing Dome Keeper while I like program and do my vibe stuff. Dome Keeper's so awesome. I love that game. Thanks for the recommendation, Gardiner.
Yeah, that was a good recommendation. Yeah, I would turn my PS5. Yeah, Gardner recommended to us during the I think it was not the last episode, but like the episode before. Yeah, it is so good.
It's super fun. It's like a cross between like Missile Command and like a tower defense sort of, but with like mining and crafting stuff. Not really crafting, but like mining resources and like building out.
This is one of those games, man. It's like I'm just looking at the screenshot and it reminds me of like my buddy Carson told me about this game Factorio. It's one of those games where I started playing it at like 8 p.m. Sun comes up. I'm like, all right, well, that's another night spent on a video.
Yeah. And then,
I've been playing that too this week. In between doing some other fun things. I'm working on this really interesting idea for a crowdsourced like database website, and it's all about the DRM free games you can buy through Steam. Because I was inspired by the story that you sent me, High Tech. The guy who does Special K, and how he deleted his like 20-year-old Steam account. So I made a video about that, and then I'm like, there are a ton of games on Steam that are DRM free, and it seems like people think you have to have Steam in order to launch all these games, but like you really don't. Like there are a lot of games that where like because they rely on like the achievement system or any of like the built-in things in Steam, Steam functionally will act like DRM for the game. But there are a lot of games that go out of their way to make sure that they can launch without the Steam client present, and then also support like Steam input and achievements and stuff like that. They are DRM free, and there isn't a great resource that can like tell you which games on Steam are DRM free. So I've been working on.
Yeah, because there's one game that I think I don't know if this is true, but like Cyberpunk 2077, I think is also a DRM free game. Because I did run because usually the way that I test this is like you go to the executable file and you just launch it, and as long as it doesn't bring up the connecting Steam account or fires up the client, then it should be DRM free, right?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. It sounds like even some AAA stuff. Yeah, like Cyberpunk worked without the DRM check, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and they'll still award like achievements or whatever. Like if you're playing the game, you can still earn like marketplace cards or whatever from these games, but that it doesn't need Steam. Like my game, for example, like you can if you buy Doodlings on Steam, then you can like close the client and launch the executable, and it just works. You can copy it to a different system without Steam installed, and you can play it, which saves you time as a developer.
Hey, Gardner, I have a video idea.
Yeah.
Have you considered going down your entire Steam library to see which of these games qualify? And then when you get to Doodlings, you'll be like, "Oh shoot, Doodlings is DRM free. I didn't know that. Thanks, developer."
I have some 1,000 something games on Steam, so I don't know if I'd do the entire thing, but yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna add that to my list, actually.
Awesome.
Did you guys pick up anything this Steam sale, by the way?
Domekeeper.
Domekeeper, some other stuff too. I recommended 100% orange juice to Gardner. James. I don't know if they've checked it out yet.
I did not pick that up. I have been super busy. I did pick up a game on GOG during the GOG sale though, and I don't remember what it is.
It's on my wish list. High Tech. I have a lot of stuff you've recommended on my wish list. I'm going to get eventually. I just got it. I mean, I put 80 hours into Expedition 33, and I finally got that done. So
nice. It's like Mario Party, but anime.
So good, dude.
That's my game of the year. It's so good.
Dude.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Death Stranding 2, that would easily be the game of the year.
Yeah. Oh, dude. So what you're saying is it's going to be a fight between Death Stranding and Expedition 33.
I just love working as a UPS delivery guy in the post-apocalypse. That's my favorite. That's my enjoyment. Like,
I don't know, man. 33 is higher than 2, so obviously Expedition 33 is game of the year, right?
Yeah. But at that point, Final Fantasy should just be a series that keeps skyrocketing to the top, but,
Man, Deus Ex said we'd have, like, Final Fantasy 24 by now, or some shit like that. Or was it 20? I don't remember which one it was.
I don't
know.
Yeah, it was in Human Revolution, that, like, little gag from Square.
That's funny.
And now we're at, what's the newest Final Fantasy? Like, what,
16?
God, that game had that game was decent until you got to like the very end, and you're like, man, I think Hideo Kojima wrote this game because they just drop like the cringiest one-liners imaginable. Like, god damn.
That's funny. I still gotta try Death Stranding too. Like, I still have to play the first one. I have it on like multiple platforms. I still need to play it. It's just
I have.
Did you play it at all? Do you know, like, have you ever experienced a bit of it? Okay,
I've experienced some of it.
If you enjoyed playing it,
yeah,
if you enjoy it, then you'll enjoy it.
I did enjoy it. I just need to sit down. I had so many other games I was playing.
Yeah,
same
and
here.
so I need to sit down. It also has Half-Life Easter eggs in it, so that also got me into it. I'm a huge Half-Life fan. So
my favorite thing about Death. Say what?
I was just like, you think we're guys getting 3 or something anytime soon for
It's gonna drop
Half-Life?
when GTA
Dude,
5 drops.
I mean, GTA 6.
Oh, GTA.
Or 6, I mean 6, sorry. Whatever. GTA 5 is gonna drop multiple times again, so you never know.
True that.
We're gonna get GTA 5 on the Switch 2 before 6 drops. Just watch.
Oh yeah.
Dude, are people still making fun of you for buying the Switch 2 when you said you wouldn't buy one?
Probably, dude. You know,
Dude.
give the internet what it is. You know, I'll be real. Like, I wish I still didn't get it, just because like the only game I played on it was Cyberpunk 2077, which is a great port, by the way, an absolutely exceptional port of a game. I'm still surprised it works. Like, I saw the Digital Foundry video. I'm like, man, they got it running on like a 9-watt Switch 2, and it looks that good. Runs better than the Steam Deck, which is still a shock because the deck is still such a great like low powered device compared to like obviously like the Rogues and the Legion Goes of the world.
Yeah. They rewrote the shaders for Cyberpunk for ARM. So it's coming out for Mac, which
Yeah,
I do all my
I'm
my
wondering-
professional stuff there, but
I'm wondering when that port comes out, because like, man, if it wasn't for how restrictive Apple was, I think they'd be a really good gaming device. Like this, like the M series of laptops they have are super duper powerful, super good. Like the graphical quality is awesome, especially when you're running things through like crossover or like through the game porting toolkit. And it's like, why is it that they're so restrictive on like gaming? Like this thing would be a decent gaming laptop, but it's just, you know, Apple being Apple, I guess, right? Like,
I hope it will change.
Well,
I hope it
I think-
changes.
Steve Jobs was embarrassed that like the way he made his first like good amount of money was Breakout, right? Like he was embarrassed about that, and like ever since they just have held this grudge against gaming. That's what it seems to me anyway.
Sounds like a skill issue.
and then it's like, even now, it's like they'll go out and they'll like port like they had I remember like when the new iPhones were coming out, they had like Resident Evil 4 remake running on these things. And I'm like, I don't understand why they're so embarrassed. Like, it's kind of a huge deal when your chipsets are running PS5 quality games, sometimes with ray tracing even, on like mobile hardware. I mean, even like Mac M1s, they're like mobile chipsets, like ARM-based chipsets, if you want to go by that technicality. I'm like, if I were you, I'd be flexing that. And now you've got like Nvidia with like, I think it's the N1X, and they're coming into the picture. It's like, why would you not be flexing the advantage you have for as long as you can, until of course the other players start getting involved? It's so weird. It's like it's like a weird Apple thing. Like they want to be like innovators. It's like people do a lot more on their devices than just like browse the web or like maybe engage with, you know, like office tools. Why not just like flex it? It's such a huge thing that you have.
I think
over, yeah.
I think it's market share, man. I really do. I think it's because like if you go and look at the games like the Resident Evils, there's not that many reviews and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
they're probably weighing that, even though they're going to have to realize they need to pour a ton of games over before that starts becoming relevant.
Well,
But,
the thing too is
yeah.
that mobile games are tainted with the stink of just being a gotcha-ridden hellscape,
Yeah.
Well,
and like people are used to not paying for video like games, right? Like I remember what was it, Super Mario Run or whatever it was called?
Yeah.
That came on mobile. It was like $10 to like access the whole game, but no one bought it. But then guess what? They released like a few months later, Fire Emblem Heroes, gotcha game, mega successful.
Yeah. Well, Resident Evils are released on Mac, iOS, and the iPad OS. So it's probably
Yeah,
because they're all ARM, and so it's a full release across all three. And to be honest, they play really well on the iPad. You can hook up a PS5 controller, plug it into your TV, and it's pretty impressive.
I mean,
on an M chip.
if I just had to guess, it's just that like mobile gaming. I don't know, like the whole mobile gaming like market isn't really designed around paying for $60 video games. Or I guess how much was it on iOS?
It's not.
It was full price. The Resident Evil remakes are all full price. Like they're
Oh,
the
were
same
they?
price you
So
would pay
they're like
for on
so like
Steam.
$60, $70.
Yeah, around them. And usually what they would do is in like the first week of the release, they would like slash the price by like 50-60%. So I mean, that's really when they only made their sales. I don't think anybody bought those
Interesting.
games after like during their full price, because it's like, as much as it's a cool novelty, it's like a party trick almost that you can run Resi 4 remake on your iPhone. But it's like, if you ever actually went through, like if you ever actually played the game without like the attached controller. It is the most laughable touchscreen control interface. Like, I have Death Stranding on my phone, and I bought that just to show my buddy how insane the on-screen controls were. Because it's just like, they have, I want to say, like, at least 18 buttons, and you have to somehow have, like, more than, like, 5 fingers per hand in order to make it work. Because like, yeah, when you get to the end, like, dude, imagine doing the final boss fight of that game with, like, the touchscreen controls. Anybody that's able to do it, bro, you have the utmost super gamer badge applied to you if you can beat a video game like that.
Yeah. I saw my friends' kids who, like, only play games on touch screens, and, like, I just worry about, like, because they won't play a game with the controller. They don't understand it. And they're young still, but, like, still they're, like, they have their tablets and they just play, like, Minecraft or whatever with that. And I'm like, what kind of generation are we raising that don't know how to use gamepads, you know?
Bunch of psychos. I mean, my kids, I put a controller or a keyboard and mouse in their hands. None of this touch. I mean, they do it a little bit.
Yeah,
gotta raise them right.
It's crazy though. Like a lot of the kids and like my family and stuff. I don't even think that they even come across many games now. It's just like all TikTok for them. It's all just like social media brain rot they're on. So
that's even worse.
Dude, one time I sat down. I'm playing like Deus Ex, and they're like, "Can you put on like something exciting? This is a boring game." I'm like, You kids, you just don't know how easy you have it these days. You just don't know, like, good quality. I feel like an old man screaming at a cloud when I'm, like, telling them, like, these are good games. Deus Ex is a good game. Metal Gear Solid 2 is a good game. Yes, it's 20 years old. It's still good.
Obviously, it's rated M not because of the blood and gore, but because you need to be mature enough to sit down.
Yeah, because you need to be mature enough to play. Yeah, dude, I was playing San Andreas, and they're like, this game just looks terrible. And I'm like, I don't know how to reach you kids, okay? This is one of the best open world games ever made, okay? 3 cities in one, and you kids don't understand how amazing this is, okay? Come on.
Just throw a reshade shader on there, and then it will look like an indie game.
Dude, on the computer, it's even wilder. Like, I'm on my computer, and they're like, do you have, like, Call of Duty Warzone or something? I'm like, no, I try, like, I'm like a Linux gamer, okay? All the good multiplayer stuff that you kids love to play just does not work for me, okay? I just play single-player nonsense.
Same. Cool. We want to get on to the first story here. Nvidia has become the first company to hit $4 trillion in valuation. High Tech, you want to fill us in on this one?
Yeah, it's exactly what it says on the tin. Nvidia became the first $4 trillion company, and it's now the most valuable company in the world. A huge historical moment for the tech sector,
dude,
says
but
tech
so like
analyst.
so how do they, so their big claim to fame is just obviously their AI, right? Like that's why they're the biggest company.
Yeah.
So that's, man, so great when they're like, you know, honestly, anybody's like, why did Nvidia abandon gamers? It's like, well, you don't become $4 trillion overnight by being for the gamers. I was reading the other, like, I think it was like the other night, that apparently they're selling their AI in like military applications now. Like, you know, they're just like they're basically almost like a defense contractor now too. So, you know,
I have a theory that this like their meteoric rise on the stock market is literally just a pump and dump by Nvidia. Like they're taking cues from their old customers, the cryptocurrency crowd, and they're just pumping their stock price with AI, and then it's just going to crash, but Jensen's going to get out before it crashes. That's my take.
I sure hope it crashes, man. I want to get a 5090 on a fire sale.
The thing with the AI stuff is I feel like you're on the money there, because I don't think the AI stuff is super duper sustainable. And that just goes for like every company, like Microsoft. It goes for like OpenAI. It goes for like is it Twitter or is it like it's Grok? Oh, XAI. That's their own company.
XAI.
Yeah.
I feel like for a lot, like the way that I always look at it, right, is that you have to make it super duper sustainable. And one of the approaches that I like from companies like Apple is like they want to move it as much as they can to the local like system to process. Because I think like Apple sees it on the wall, right? It's like we can enable AI for millions of users to access on our servers, but it's like at some point every request they make, like I was reading that like a ChatGPT request was like 10 times the power requirement of like a standard Google search. So it's like at some point it's got and it already is just way too unsustainable to have so many users on at any given moment. And generally speaking, I feel like the advancements between like all these AI models, like Grok 4 and Grok 4 Heavy just dropped, and all I've seen is praise just from the AI bros. I haven't really seen any praise from like the general user, you know? So it's like they keep pushing this technology, they keep upping the ante, but I just don't personally see the actual like fruit of the labor, so to speak, right, being provided.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grok is
Yeah.
an interesting one because Grok is powered by a bunch of diesel motor or generators in Texas. Like it's crazy what it takes
my
to
God.
because well Texas doesn't have a good power grid, and so it's yeah, diesel is running Grok. It's interesting, but I've read good things about it, but I don't think it's much different than Claude or ChatGPT or aka OpenAI. But I like them, but I definitely think that a company like Nvidia is going to the bubble's going to pop because it's going to be more accessible to lower end systems as models become more optimized. And we've seen this already happen multiple times, and I would not put any money into Nvidia right now, so I think that bubble's going to pop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're
and I
talking
think-
about like stuff like DeepSeek almost, where like they were
Yeah.
able to run their models. Yeah.
Exactly.
I was able to run DeepSeek on my Steam Deck. Like it's a pretty good model. Like the 7 billion, I think it was, wasn't it, James? We did it together.
Yeah,
I think it was 7
like
billion.
I think it was like the 7 billion. It was really impressive that I was able to get it done in a
Yeah.
quick enough manner for what it was. Like,
I mean, it wasn't as
Shot.
fast as or as like good as running it through OpenAI or something, but it was still like
But it's
impressive.
local. It's better than
Yeah,
that,
it's
you know?
local.
Yeah, it's local and it's also like lower powered too, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the Steam Deck doesn't even have like AI dedicated like NPUs or whatever. Where
Yeah.
I have the a Minis Forum AI X1 or something, and it's really really fast at running like even I think it has 64 gigabytes of shared RAM, and it's like very fast at running like the 20 or 30 billion model, which
Yeah.
is really really impressive.
I'm running on a 96 gigabyte shared Mac Studio, and it will like locally for some stuff, and I'm really impressed with it. That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
I really think eventually you
Yeah.
could just get a Mac. I mean, they're expensive, but like a $4,000 Mac Studio as opposed to what these graphics cards that Nvidia sells are, like that's huge difference. I can do a lot with my Mac Studio. at
Yeah,
least.
like in a server downstairs, like where I just have all my VMs come out of, like that's where I put like a Gemma model in there. Probably is around, I want to say 13 billion parameters, and it's about like it's not the same as like ChatGPT, but like connecting it to the internet through CRX and G, it does a lot of the research that I need to. I'm even getting deep research working on it, hopefully later today. So I have found that like local models, you know, even if they're not as shiny as like Grok and ChatGPT, they run locally, and it just feels like I'm kind of outside the scope of these like crazy subscription models. Like even with Grok, it's like I looked at the price; it's like $200 a month for 4 heavy, and like I think it's $40 for Grok or 30 for Grok 4 if you go through the app. So
And they're upping those prices.
Yeah, they're upping the prices. Why? Because it's not sustainable at the prices they're at. Like
Because
I
every
think,
idiot on fucking Twitter wants to be like, Grok, is this true?
yeah.
yeah, Grok
But
is
the thing is though, I think Apple's really smart. Like with their not rolling out of like cloud-based AI stuff, because they know that at some point someone has to foot the bill, and their customers, while they are, you know, going to be more open to paying higher prices because of the Apple tax, it's just not sustainable as a business model. And that's why I think this is a huge bubble, and Nvidia's valuation is just going to topple pretty soon.
They've pissed off the segment that got them there, the gamers.
Yeah.
Like
The gamers.
I don't want to touch Nvidia stuff. Like let alone it runs horribly on Linux.
Yep.
They need to fix that. Like Baz, I had to go back to Windows on my 3090 and just
I have a video
yes.
hopefully sometime soon, probably like a month, where I'm like just gonna be like I downgraded my system because I'm going to an AMD card now. And it's like what you said, like the Nvidia stuff runs like I have a 4090 and it's just you feel like you lose. I think it's like what 20-30% of your performance on like Linux, and it's just I like Linux. I'd rather just get like the 30% slower AMD card and get my full performance. Wouldn't really matter. Right, because I have an AMD 6800 XT in my computer downstairs where I have like Bazzite installed. It's like my home console. I use it like a literal PlayStation, and dude, the performance on it is insane. I'm playing Cyberpunk, I'm playing like Death Stranding, I'm playing FF7 Rebirth. Everything is 60 frames. And if I need to get like extra GPU power, you can just always inject like FSR, and at that distance, like the FSR artifacting is so unnoticeable. So it's like you just get so much life out of the AMD stuff, and Nvidia's kind of like dragged their heels on patching their driver up for like Linux anyway. So it's like down the road, I think it's just team AMD, processor and GPU wise.
If you can get one too, like getting a Nvidia card is near impossible.
I wonder if I can smuggle a GPU out of Japan.
The thing is
that's some rare stuff.
The thing is with NVIDIA cards too on Linux, I have never had an NVIDIA card on Linux that is capable of consistently sleeping and waking. Ever. Really? Yeah, never, ever.
Yeah.
I can't in good conscience have NVIDIA cards anymore.
I remember back
even with Mint, it's better, but it's still not close to the AMD experience of like.
I remember back in the day, the tables used to be turned. It used to be that Nvidia was the like Linux friendly GPU company, and AMD was the opposite. And I guess, but that was probably like 2 decades ago, right? Maybe like a decade and a half.
I mean, I remember in 2013, like when around the time where AMD was working on Vulkan. And they started talking about like retiring the Radeon drivers for Linux. That was when the tides turned, because at the time they were both probably at parity in terms of their Linux support. Neither was great. Nvidia was slightly better, but yeah, no, Nvidia like legitimately removed useful features from the Linux version of their drivers because they wanted to quote unquote increase feature parity with the Windows drivers. And that was when I was like, oh, this doesn't bode well. Yeah, so I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was like display resolutions and refresh rates, or maybe, no, it was like the number of supported displays was much higher on Linux than it was on Windows. And then they pulled that feature out, and they were like, no, you can only have, a maximum of 4 displays.
Do you think they did that because it was like maybe like an enterprise feature or something, right? Like, like sometimes they have it for like an enterprise grade card, like the multiple displays I think would be, like how people set up like displays in like Times Square, like advertising stuff.
Yeah.
Just run them off like enterprise GPUs.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wondering if they like removed it because they were like, wait, we're giving this like expensive feature to like the plebeians,
It makes sense. Kind of sounds like what they did with SLI, or what would become NVLink, too. Because you can't use NVLink on any consumer GPUs, but for like not the Tesla cards, but like the Quattros, I think it was.
Yeah,
those can be NVLinked together. No practical game.
Well, they took away GPU virtualization for no real reason other than it was an enterprise feature and we couldn't run it on like, Linux or... I mean, I think the only way you can do like GPU virtualization on like most modern NVIDIA cards properly is through like that Hyper-V GPU-P like trick. Other than that, like on Linux, it's such a nuisance to go through.
I thought that they had recently, like in 3000 series cards, they had re-enabled virtualization. Am I wrong about that?
I don't know if it's like for Linux. I know for like, I think you can do it through like if as long as maybe you're in their developer program. I'm just saying like for the consumer aspect of it. I see.
Yeah. Yeah, they suck. they're like terrible. They're one of the final bosses of gaming, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we all need that demon for now.
I know, right?
But you know the thing that I always hate about like with Nvidia though is like I've like recently had this, and I've said it in our Discord chat too. I've had this like revelation that I think this whole ray tracing craze, aside from like one or two games that I've played, I really hate how much it's pushed in an unoptimized state by every developer. Because, you know, playing something like Death Stranding 2, right? Like, it's a game that has no ray tracing, yet the lighting somehow looks better than a lot of games with the unneeded ray tracing sometimes. And it runs better, like a Lock 60 on the PlayStation. And I'm just kind of sitting there, I'm like, you know, I play a lot of games on PC, like that Monster Hunter Wilds. I played a little bit on PC. I ran the benchmarking. I'm like, this runs like absolute dog shit, you know? And then, like, and then it's funny, too, because then you look at the developers and it's like, how do you make it run at a consistent frame rate and a resolution? It's like, well, just slap on the frame generation and the DLSS upscaler. And I'm like, I look at the system requirements. I'm like, dude, for 1080p at 30 frames or 60, they want me to like generate frames. They want me to like upscale from like 720. I'm like, what happened to like basic optimizations? Like, what happened to like having a game run rock solid? You know, I can play games from like 10 years ago, like Phantom Pain, that maybe the textures are a little muddier, but damn, does that thing walk on integrated graphic cards even, as opposed to like modern day GPUs where it's like games look, I would say, marginally better in some cases, but the requirement is like, it's like, brother, why do I need all the upscaling tech in the world? This is not optimization. This is just Nvidia locking every other vendor out from, you know, plus basic optimizations.
Yeah, man. Plus they deprecated physics support for 32-bit games as well. I think I think Borderlands 2 is one such a game too.
I love everybody who's like, whoever played old physics games, and like the day I got that news, I was playing Mirror's Edge on my PC. I'm like,
oh no.
Oh, wow, they just removed like, you know, pretty like and it's funny too because like they removed that tech, and then I kind of sit there, I'm like, you know, if it wasn't for the fact that ray tracing like as software wasn't something that was kind of a little feature agnostic these days, imagine if like 10, 15 years down the road they took away ray tracing, like the RTX technologies. Like, would you not complain then? Especially now that games are built with that technology in mind in certain cases. Like, it's so outlandish to me. Like, some of the defense that I hear about Nvidia too.
The average age of the games that I've played over the last year, if, like in my Steam account, 17 years old. Like, I don't play a lot of modern games. And so, like, the idea that, like, you know, at some point, the RTX technology could just be pulled away, you know? And so people my age in the future can't play the games they grew up with. That seems like just...
Yeah.
Dude, imagine growing up with Fortnite.
Dude, you'll lose Fortnite.
Yeah.
You'll lose it at some point. That's what'll happen. Dude, it's like you'll lose access to all that life. Yeah,
unless Stop Killing Games succeeds, that is.
Yeah, great segue. I was trying to find one. So Video Game Europe has emerged as like an opponent of Stop Killing Games. High Tech, you want to hit us up with this info here?
Well, let's see what the games industry has to say. We appreciate the passion of our community. However, the decision to discontinue online services is multifaceted, never taken lightly, and must be an option for companies when an online experience is no longer commercially viable. We understand that it can be disappointing for players, but when it does happen, the industry ensures that players are given fair notice of the prospective changes in compliance with local consumer protection laws. Private servers are not always a viable option for players, as the protections we put in place to secure players' data, remove illegal content, and combat unsafe community content would not exist and would leave rights holders liable. In addition, many titles are designed from the ground up to be online only. In effect, the proposals would curtail developer choice by making these games prohibitively expensive to create. We welcome the opportunity to discuss our position with policymakers and those who have led the European Citizens Initiative in the coming months.
You know how much it hurts my soul that everything they just said there was a fucking blatant lie? Like, nobody is asking companies to be responsible for the games they take down. It's funny to me, like, okay, so the Stop Killing Games, I think, is an initiative. I think everyone here, I think every gamer really who plays video games supports it, because look, yes, games are a lot different than the games we used to play as a kid, right? Like, I remember back, when it came to the PlayStation 1, you slap your disc in, you could play a game from start to finish, done. And yes, there are a lot of games that have unneeded open, like, services to the internet. And I think those are all bullshit. I think all that stuff is completely wrong. Like, there was a game that I brought up in my videos that I talked about, Need for Speed 2015. And I know that you just took down, like, Need for Speed Rivals or whatever, like that online service. But that's not a big deal because at least for that game, a big majority of the game is playable offline, like through the single player, like, functionality. But like a game like Need for Speed 2015 that I really enjoy, I think it's a great Need for Speed game. The shitty side of it is that it needs a permanent connection to EA servers. And there's been no discussion on like, hey, down the road, what are we going to do when we have to take these servers down? They just took down Anthem, a game that could have been, processed locally. At least when it came to that game's logic, I believe. Why, gamers are okay. Why people are defensive of this. It's like this weird world we kind of live in. And it goes into so many other aspects where, like, even when it comes to physical media, I've made so many videos where I've talked about, like, if you buy a PlayStation disc, even some Xbox discs, right? Provided they're not first-party Microsoft or Switch game cards, you can play the entire game from the beginning title credit to the, end credit sequence without a patch. So it's like there's so many aspects of game preservation that still exist, but a lot of these big companies are fighting to take that away from us and turn everything into a live service or basically require us to constantly be connected to services that will go down at some point, and then we'll have no choice other than to buy a sequel of a video game. I don't understand the weird world we live in where like even certain gamers are kind of like eating that bullshit, even though it's so provably wrong. And so I think Stop Killing Games is so great because when you got like these 6-figure lobbyists who are actually getting off their ass and to write up briefs about how evil consumer rights are, you're doing something right in this situation. Like, no matter how you slice it.
We had Ross on the channel yesterday. Last week, actually. And he spoke further. We gave some hypotheticals like, what about World of Warcraft? Because, a game like World of Warcraft functionally would not be possible without like hundreds or like thousands of players, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, he's a good guy too, and I'm surprised it took this long for someone to do this. But I guess none of us are European, so
Yeah.
Yeah, their consumer rights are a lot better than us in North America. That's for sure.
Yeah,
you said it.
I just relish the fact that the video game industry feels so threatened, like they recognize that like the way they've been doing things is wrong, and they know that they have to lie and spin to make sure that they can keep doing things the evil way. And I love that.
Yeah, and the crazy part is they shot themselves in the foot by doing exactly that, making these online games playable offline. Like, let's look at two games. Not great games. Redfall, not great game, but it's playable offline, in case you ever want to play it. I think you can still buy it today and play it offline if you want.
Yeah,
and,
it was on a Steam sale, yeah.
Yeah, and Multiverses is another game that's not that great, but you can play that offline too, with all the characters unlocked. Something like that, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And actually, there's another interesting one too. It's a gacha game. It's called Mega Man X Dive, based on the Mega Man X series. It was a gacha game. It failed. It shut down. But then Capcom decided to just take that gacha game and just repackage it as like a game for like $30, and you can play it.
They did the same with Animal Crossing gacha on iPhone?
Did they?
Yeah, Nintendo. They made an Animal Crossing gacha. They released the whole thing. All of its updates, all of its content. I think it's like a $20 like iPhone game. Just the whole game. And it's funny too, because it's like the good parts of the game with all of the predatory gacha shit removed, because it's not a live service. Wow. So unironically, not only did they not kill the game, but they actually made it better.
That's like, I wouldn't have seen that from Nintendo. Companies, but hey.
Yeah.
I think it's like, like at the end of the day, like companies like Nintendo, as much as I want to like shit on or anybody wants to crap on them, I think they realize like when they make a software product, you might not like a certain Mario Kart game or like a certain like Fire Emblem game, but I think when they produce a project, like there's kind of like that ego where or at least like an understanding, like, okay, we made something good, we might as well keep it active or something. Maybe that kind of is present in a company like that, as opposed to like, you know, an EA or like a Take-Two where it's like, shit, we just like throw out all these sports games and all this nonsense every other year. Who cares if one goes down? They're just gonna buy the next, right? Like every project is kind of treated with like some reverence, as opposed to this is just coming out of the factory for, you know, all the little piggies to consume, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's like a level of disposability, right? Like so many of their like EA's games specifically are disposable because they want you, like their revenue model is you buy the yearly iteration of the product. If they are forced to have like to in some way like end of life their product gracefully and let people preserve those games, it threatens their unethical model. And you know, so people are seeing through it too. I mean, like the fact that they have hit 81% over their target, is that right?
Yeah.
Or they're 81% of the way to like the target.
They want to get the short, like, because they know they're going to lose a bunch of signatures for.
I mean, there's a good chance that we do have at like 1 million like actual signatures at minimum, but it's just a safety net.
Yeah.
Plus, if we were to get this to 2 million signatures, it'll really show them just how important this is.
Yeah.
So keep signing.
Yeah. If you're in the EU.
The thing about stop killing games that's super important, like, as well, is that I think it, you know, games are not the only things under threat, right? Like, obviously, it's just like general use software. It's like software in general. So I feel like this can just bleed over into other consumer protections for, you know, software that we use, like video editing stuff. Like maybe Adobe's looking at this and wondering, oh, shit, maybe this might maybe the dragnet might hit us, so to speak, right? Maybe even operating systems down the road too, right? Like maybe at some point companies like Microsoft, companies like Apple may have to look and revise more end-of-life plans for their software. I don't know, maybe. But I think this has more of an effect, could have an effect on the industry and larger, and it shouldn't just be games.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the principles here also coincide with right to repair. Like, I mean, this is it. You have a right to the product that you buy, and you have a right to maintain that product well after whoever decides that's an obsolete product. So I think that there's more than just even software. I think that this applies to like anything that has digital capability at all. I don't know. I love this. I'm really glad that we got to have Ross on the episode last week too.
Yeah, it was pretty insightful, and I got to do the whole World of Warcraft.
Yeah, we kept hitting on World of Warcraft.
Well, it's such an interesting one because there's like unofficial servers and stuff like that, and so it's definitely one that where I want to see game companies have end of life plans of, especially like Blizzard. Like you have enough money, you can open source at least part of the servers. There's no reason except for they want to protect their IP, and they don't want to. You know. Yeah.
So I do want to talk about the second paragraph of their statement, that how private servers are not always a viable option. So they say that, you know, private server operators can't secure player data, but really there's no they probably wouldn't collect nearly as much data as like a major AAA company would, because you know they're not trying to sell your data to the highest bidder, right?
Yeah. You know who also can't secure your data? Publishers. Sony, for God's sake. Sony has had a leak every single year, it seems. It's like, I don't know, they're so self-important, and they think that they love to use aggrandizing language like this, but they are literally like complete morons.
I just want to know what those
sometimes pretty cool.
I want to know what those private servers are going to be stealing too. Like, can't protect it. Like what telemetry even? Like, I don't know. Like it's so bizarre. Because don't get me wrong, you shouldn't install or even play on, I guess, servers you don't understand. But what are they going to steal? I don't know. Like it's.
Let's see.
Well, if they have to have the anti-cheat go along with the graceful endpoint, then their games are suddenly going to be rootkits. So
the rootkit.
They can't be having private servers for rootkits.
Dude, I hate the anti-cheat like stuff so much. When I made my video on like Valorant, I had like I think I like XQC fucking like react to one of those videos, and look,
One of your
I don't have a
videos?
beef. Yeah, I don't have a beef with Felix. Like he's an okay guy, but like, god damn, it's just like anytime you come across like the gamer without like the technical understanding, and this is really douchey of me to say, it's like they will always take the side of these corporations for no fucking reason, right? Like to explain to somebody that you shouldn't have rootkit level software running on your system, and then you find like these no name like programmer wannabes come out and be like, well, don't you have a keyboard or mouse connected? You know that uses. I'm like, first off, there's a big fucking difference between having a input method and then like a video game that I occasionally play running its anti-cheat 24/7 on my system, right? From boot time, from the initial like startup phase. And then it's always like, well, you need some level of anti-cheat to protect yourself. And it's just, even with all of these measures in place, every single game that I play with anti-cheat and shit, it's still filled with the most insane hackers. Like, I always find it funny every time when like a Linux game gets rejected, like some developer like kicks off like they remove Linux games from like, you know,
Apex Legends.
Yeah, like Apex, exactly. I'm like, how stupid is it, right? That like you're blaming us. Like first off, it's funny because these guys are like, well, Linux users are just like a tiny like fraction of a fraction, but suddenly they're significant enough to be like the craziest hackers in your game. Just admit that your games aren't. Just admit that your anti-cheat engines aren't protecting you.
Actually,
at a level you know.
It's all scapegoat. They use it as a scapegoat.
Yeah, so like the crazy part is that, you know, companies like Blizzard, you know, shout out to Pirate Software, who used to work at Blizzard, by the way.
Sure.
But like Blizzard does secure their games like better than say BattlEye or like Easy Anti-Cheat. Like they don't use those, and those games, like Blizzard games, work on Linux, right? Like you can play Diablo 4 on Linux just fine.
You can play D4, you can play Overwatch, you can play like
WoW.
WoW, yeah.
Yeah, you can play WoW.
Overwatch was the first game I remember. I was like, oh, this runs great under Proton, and I was like, wow. At least as much as I don't care about Overwatch, I'm like, congratulations, it's the one game that I can play, right? You know,
Yeah,
as it's released.
Like, you can play Hearthstone on Linux, but like that's a card game, so.
And it's funny, like the Activision side of Blizzard definitely does not want to support Linux. You got all the COD hatred. It's like Blizzard side cares, Activision side. Well, I don't think Activision cares about anybody in general, but you know, certainly not about us.
See,
you just have higher ups looking at the market share. They're like, it's not worth it. Let's just say that they're hackers, and then we don't have to worry about it and spend money on it. But Valorant, you brought up Valorant. I have to mention this. Like, I installed it on Windows like a year or two ago, and it wouldn't let me use DaVinci. I think it was DaVinci Resolve or some editor. It said it was a virus or something, or like not a virus. Obviously, it's not antivirus, but like it said it was not allowed. I had multiple programs that would always, I could not have them running with Valorant, and so I'm like, well, fuck this. Like, I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah,
you should make You should make a video about that. All the list of like legit programs you can't run while playing Valorant.
Just having it running because it's rooted into your system.
Yeah. And it's insane too. Like even then, like you'll still find people that defend this kind of a practice. It's like you should never be okay with having any like that's what. When I make videos on like even antiviruses throughout my career, I've always said like I don't really even trust antivirus software too, right? Like I just use the common sense model because even with like certain antivirus softwares, it's like you're still giving them an unprecedented amount of access to your system, as you do a lot of this like anything software related that has to run at that level, like that permission level on your system. It's like you should trust it 100%. And I'm like, do you really trust? Do you really want to open up the door for a video game software even, right? Like if I'm not willing to do that for antivirus softwares, I'm sure as hell not doing that for a fucking video game, right? Like that computer back there, that's the only computer in my house that runs Windows natively, and it runs it for one game, Rainbow Six Siege, and that game has been shit on so hard in the last month that I don't even think this computer is a necessary thing anymore. Like they have completely ruined that game. I don't know if you guys have seen, like they made that game free to play this new season. They released Siege X. So they make it free to play, right? And then like all the reward earning, so all the money you earn after every match has been like diminished. Like we're talking like South
Classic.
Korean MMO levels of grinding.
Classics.
Oh man.
I'm just like, I don't even give a shit about this game anymore. Because it's like, and then not only that, but because it's free to play, and I guess because of their new anti-cheat technologies or whatever the fuck Ubisoft has been working on or not working on, that game is completely unplayable with the new player base that you have in there. So yeah, it's that might be a completely retired system. There's no need for me to have a Windows system at all now that the primary software is completely useless.
Yeah. I don't know. In terms of like studios that support Linux, like it feels like AAA publishers don't give a shit about like Linux users, right? Because it's such an infinitesimally small, as they say, like user base, and yet like there are more Linux native games now than there ever have been, and most of them are coming from like indie studios or AA studios, and apparently half of this year's top performing Steam games have come from AA or indie studios. How was that for a segue?
That was a pretty good segue.
You know, honestly, like I'm so glad you guys bring up like the AA, the like indie market, because you know, like I said earlier, like aside from Death Stranding 2, it's like my only other game was like System Shock 2. Schedule 1 was a great game as well. Just in general, like I think for me, I am not a passionate gamer when it comes to the AAA space. Like I don't give a shit anymore about like most of the mainstream stuff that releases, other than maybe like the Sony movie game. But even that, like, interest is, like, waning pretty heavily. But when it comes to, like, the hours I spend, like I mentioned with Factorio, like, all these indies titles that release for, by the way, a fraction of the cost. Now games are, like, 70, 80 bucks. You know, I buy, like, Schedule 1 for, like, 20 bucks, man, and I'm already putting, like, hundreds of hours into a game like that for a fraction of the cost. And it's funny, too, because, like, a lot of the indie AA stuff, it feels like early PS4 generation, where you guys remember when games like Watch Dogs, like MGS4 kind of dropped, or Rainbow Six Siege, great example, where it's like, okay, we have updated hardware, let's kind of like, the graphics are going to be better, obviously, but can we push the open worlds a little bit more? Can we make these worlds livelier? Can we add more gameplay features to them that wouldn't have been possible on the PS3? Yeah. I feel like with AAA now in the PS5 generation, it feels like only the graphics have gotten better, but not the actual like gameplay systems, right? One game that I was playing on Steam, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, Shadows of Doubt. Super duper awesome game. It's a
like
game
a
that runs
detective
like
game, right?
Oh yeah, it's a detective game. It runs
Oh,
like
yeah,
shit
I
on
have
any
that.
computer. Guys, I'm telling you, any computer you have, if you want to humble your system, even if you have the best thing available, like 5090s, the greatest processors in the market, the fastest RAM, this game will run at like 15 frames. Because it's like, the developer behind it, the indie guy, did the Oblivion approach where he made every NPC a living, breathing character. Like everything is like constantly running in this world. So there's like a murderer that's running around, and you're like, your job is to basically stop the murder. So the murderer keeps murdering, or they're just murders that keep happening. So you yeah, so you go to the crime scenes, and you're actually investigating like a real immersive sim. Like you're getting fingerprints, you're like checking for security cameras. There's multiple ways to solve these cases, and it's all happening in real time. And I'm like, how is it that like a AA indie developer makes something that's super duper cool, like LA Noire, but on crack? And the AAA industry is like, they're still just making PS4 era games with ray tracing and like slightly higher resolutions, you know?
Because they're afraid. That's because they're afraid. Games have gotten so expensive that if one game bombs, then it could be the death of the studio.
But whose fault is it that the game is expensive, you know? Whose fault is it then that the game just suddenly jumped up in price, right? Like, is it our fault? No, I think it's just the crazy development, like, processes they have over here. They want every game... First off, like, every game needs to be a live service in their eyes, like, technically speaking, because they want you to be able... They want you to be, like, giving them $1 billion a year. They want every game... They want every online experience to be like Grand Theft Auto Online, where, like, it makes a crazy chunk of cash. When they forget the fact that a game like Grand Theft Auto Online only works because the core game is good, like the core actual game is amazing. You know, we bought it for the single player, we love it. The online is just an extension of that technology and that gameplay loop. not every game can be a successful live service, but they want everything to be $1 billion like generator. And if it doesn't, if it's like a Concord where it comes out and it doesn't make that money back in like 4 days, just destroy the entire project you worked on. But then whose fault is that? Is that the gamer's fault, or is that the company's fault for making something so unnecessarily expensive?
I blame Sega.
When they're at their best.
Go back to like the marketing that Sega was using in the 90s against Nintendo. And it's like Sega does what Nintendo don't. Like we have blast processing. That's really what I think has pushed the industry to this unhealthy position. Is it's like we have the best graphics. We're like a billion. We have billions of polygons. X, Y, and Z. I think that the marketing has like pushed it to a point where it's just fundamentally unsustainable now, and they have to make the game look as beautiful as they can and sacrifice literally everything else, like the game's. We have 80 million square kilometers that you can explore with hundreds of thousands of NPCs that are dynamically generated, and it's like cool, but none of that matters if the game isn't fun. So
yeah, but the difference was that the games on the Sega Genesis were fun, and the games themselves were evolving too. Like you couldn't see a game like Sonic the Hedgehog on the NES now, could you?
I was being facetious when I said I blame Sega, but
but yeah, I get what you're saying though. Yeah.
I mean, it goes back to the bit wars, right? Like 18, 16-bit, like PlayStation 1 has like FMVs, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of look at that as like a logical extension of like what games should look like, or like like good. Like that was when like I think video games had like their biggest obvious jump in graphical technologies. Like when you go from the PS1 all the way to the PS2, I remember as a kid, the thing that blew my mind was like, bro, the mouths are moving. Oh my god, they actually have fingers. Oh my god, it goes from day to night. Wow, I was blown away.
The dialogue is voiced.
Yeah, well, voiced good now from the PlayStation 1 to the 2. It's voiced better.
Hey man, PlayStation 1 dubs are like a classic though.
Yeah. But then you go from like the 2 to the PlayStation 3 and you're like, okay, when we jump from Metal Gear Solid 3 all the way to like, MGS4 is god tier. It's a good looking game. And then the online functionality for the video game, like that was really the generation when like online gaming kind of became a norm. And then like they kind of centered, like they made some good gameplay changes for online stuff. Like I remember when the Dark Souls games came out, you could play them single player, but man, there's a whole ecosystem you built around that like asynchronous multiplayer that was super awesome. But then as soon as you go to like the PS4 and then that PS5 generation now, games are just pretty looking, and you're right, they just want to put money towards it. Like the only good Xbox first party game that I played was Indiana Jones. That's the only one that like kind of screamed to me in the last like couple years. And it really felt that way because, they focused on the gameplay first. And yeah, sure, the visuals were great for that game. Nobody's denying it, but it's like when a game is successful, it's because it's just fun to play. It's just like a game that's engaging. It's fun. You want to get back to it. I've never played a game more than once just because it looked good. Just because like, it had like pretty features. Like, who gives a shit?
Like
Far Cry.
Honestly, man.
Far Cry. I played Far Cry a ton because it was beautiful when I tried it out. But like with Dead Space, one of my favorite franchises, the third one had, I think, a third of its budget in marketing. Like,
wait, James, you said Far Cry. Do you mean Far Cry 1?
Yeah.
To be fair, that was a benchmarking game, kind of like what Crysis was back in the day.
But that was also a good game though back in the day. Like Far Cry 1 was like a solid release.
I remember like going prone in Far Cry and seeing like the blades of grass casting shadows on the gun model, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is the best graphics we'll ever look."
I remember when I was like, when I was young and I saw like the Crysis one. Remember that dropped?
Yeah,
there was one guy showing like screenshots, and I remember the thumbnail for Crysis. I would be like, "Oh my god, is that a real forest?" And I click on it, I'm like, "Oh my god, it is a real forest." 10 seconds into the video, I'm like, "No, it's just Crysis. It's just that good looking."
So good.
That makes me think of like the the PC Gamer like cover when Unreal Tournament 99 came out, and it was like, yes, this is a real in-game screenshot, and it was like, and it looks like crap now, but it was impressive back then.
Back then, you're like, whoa, lighting? Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa, man, it's crazy just how we're plateauing in terms of graphics. Because honestly, I'm not sure if the PS6 will look much better than the PS5 Pro is right now.
I don't think it will. Like, the last, like, really jaw-dropping good game was, I'll say it again, Death Stranding 2. Like, if you've seen the visual features for, like, you know, how Norman Reedus looks in that game, it's like, damn, it is a really, like, they really pushed the visuals out on that game, you know? But even then, it's like, I've never kept playing a game because it looks nice. I just play it because it plays okay. So when it comes to the visuals, like, I'm okay with plateauing visuals if it means, like, the focus is just the gameplay, you know? Like, as long as you can make a 60-hour gaming experience super duper fun to play, that's all I give a shit about, you know? Other than that,
Yeah.
because nobody wants to play a 60-hour game that plays like ass. Nobody does that. Like, we all just stop playing it. You know, it just goes into the backlog forever.
Hold on. All right, I have one question for you. Since you're playing Death Stranding 2, is Geoff Keighley in the game too?
I have not seen him yet. I know he was in the first game, but I haven't seen him in this one.
Damn.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I know,
though. He's like the biggest Kojima guy.
Yeah, for sure, man. I know he also put Usada Pecora in the game too.
He put like a VTuber in one of these. Yeah, he put a lot of I want to say they weren't like influencers immediately, but they were just like, he's like a weird guy, man. Hideo Kojima's this weird dude. Like, he'll manifest. He just manifests himself into any situation he wants. Like, he could just think to himself, like, I want to hang out with Keanu Reeves, and like a week later, Keanu Reeves will be announcing like a new Silent Hill game or like Death Stranding 3. Like, fucking insane developer that guy is, dude. Unhinged guy. This game is definitely the products of a lot of drugs, though. Like, if you play this game once, I swear, it like, I felt like I was high playing this at some point. Like, when you get to the ending of the game, it genuinely is like, I feel like it's a contact high. Like, I experience his drug usage through this experience. It's just so outlandish. That's one of the reasons why I actually like the game. Like, I like playing a video game that's so detached from reality. You know? It's like, I remember, like, my dad was like, why do you play Grand Theft Auto? I'm like, well, Dad, would you like me to be a heister in real life or in a video game? Because that's what I like to do. I like to live vicariously as a criminal in a video game, not in reality land. It's one of the reasons why I don't play, you know, like a sports game or something really boring. You know, I don't do tax filing simulator for fun. You know, that's not a joy to me. I play System Shock because I like to see what it's like to be trapped in a space environment against a rogue AI. I wouldn't like to actually see it. That's the only reason I play the most outlandish games out there.
Not with that attitude.
It's like, would you want to be in the Dead Space universe? Probably not, because I would die probably in the first 5 minutes of that universe.
Yep.
But you know,
True that.
Yeah.
So I wonder if any of these games are on Game Pass.
Any of these games?
Any of these games are listed.
Yeah.
Yes.
well, I know Indiana
Expedition.
Jones is on Game Pass. I know Expedition's on Game Pass. But I also know that Game Pass shouldn't be sustainable, boys.
That is, yeah, that's our next story.
It's not just me. I think it's the Arcane boss that also said the same thing.
Yeah. High Tech, what's this story all about?
Well, essentially, Arcane founder Raphael Colantonio
Colantonio, yeah.
has publicly stated that he basically believes that Game Pass is unsustainable. It's been found to have lost up to 80% premium sales for games that are on the service. And Game Pass's main selling point is that first-party Xbox games go to Game Pass day one, so you don't have to wait like a year or so. But other people suggest that Game Pass is sustainable. If I had to guess who those people were,
Microsoft.
It's
I would
Probably
imagine Microsoft leadership.
All I'm gonna say is I've been saying this for 5 or 6 years. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, it just does not make sense as a business model. I just don't see how it's sustainable.
I mean, it's sustainable if you have just Microsoft dumping money into it. That's the only sustainable aspect of it. But,
I mean, but when are they going to recoup the money they're investing in it? Like, that's why it's not sustainable. Like, you can be Microsoft and you can dump hundreds of billions of dollars into this, but like at some point they have to make their money back, and I just don't see how they're going to.
By selling your data, of course. That's where all the money really is.
Yeah.
But what data? I mean, there's some data. They're also probably doing tax write-offs for now, so they're like, well, we don't want to pay more any taxes, so we're going to write this off with this service.
Yeah, I mean, Game Pass would be a great model just so you can write losses of. Well, the thing with these subscription models is like you have to go back to like Netflix, right? Like, what was Netflix's model for 10 years? What, spend like billions of bucks on like original content, especially when you have no competitors, raise a user base and then like jack up the prices. Yeah, sure, you could do that, and they kind of have been doing that. But then when you have like Disney and like, you know, all these like HBO Max, all these other guys in your pond, and they're not willing to start with that level of investment. You know, you kind of see where this streaming model, at least for video and TV shows, keep jacking up the prices, take away all the features you can, and hope that people are buying, and they are buying, and that's just how they have it going. But the thing with like gaming is like, I think Game Pass would be a great model if it was like you could get your AA or, you know, indie game on there, right? Like, we give a bunch of money to like the Schedule 1 developer to get like, you know, their game on our front. System Shock remake or remaster or whatever shows up, like, you know, the AA or standard game, the game that doesn't cost, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars to produce. But yeah, when you put a game like Starfield or you put a game like Indiana Jones, these are games that I would have bought like $60, you know, prices for, and I'm actually glad for Game Pass that I didn't get Starfield. You know what I mean? Like, okay, definitely saved the punch there. Okay, great. But you know, for like Indiana Jones, like, would I like to buy it? Sure. But no, they put it on Game Pass, so it's like, you know, why would I ever even think of ever buying a first-party Microsoft game? Like, why would I buy Oblivion Remaster or Halo or anything if I know that that's just given to me for a pretty low price? So on that front, it's great for a developer, for the you know, firms that are taking these deals. I used to think these deals were pretty good, but it seems like they're not, given what the Arcane boss has said too. And I think, honestly, like with Game Pass, it's like, it's a great excuse for Microsoft to like release shoddy games and put them on Game Pass and just say, hey, you're not paying a full $60 for it. What do you give a shit about? We can release janky releases here and there, you know, and I guess that's kind of like a weird justification. But Microsoft's also that company where it's like, even if you wanted to buy their game for $60, like if I wanted to buy a disc copy of Indiana Jones, they don't even have the whole game on disc anymore. What's the point of getting it? It's just, they are treating their entire games, like their side of the games division, like crap. Like, they're making all the terrible decisions that are just burning all the goodwill from actual like people in their space, like actual gamers. So maybe they hope that everyone just gets a Game Pass sub, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they're also not just burning gamers; they're burning studios. Like the all the closures that have happened. I don't remember the exact number, but it was like the 10th closing of studios in the last like however long.
Yeah, they had like what, half of Playground Games gutted, or not Playground? Sorry, the Turn 10, which was the Forza Motorsport guys.
Yeah.
You had what was that? Hi-Fi Rush, Tango Gameworks.
Yep.
That was like last year. Dude, imagine being a developer. But like, imagine being like a game developer. You make Xbox's most like marquee game. Like, you make the game that everyone talks about. Like, they share in all their press releases. Like, look at how great of a game we made. And then you shut down that studio, right? Like, it is such a blackpilling thing for a game publisher or game developer to work for an organization as large as Microsoft, like the second or third largest company in the world, and still face financial closure because the bean counters obviously don't consider you as valuable as like, you know, Microsoft Windows or like 365 or another set of subscriptions.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's totally crazy to me that you can make a good game that Microsoft claims sold well and still get shut down. Like, it's one thing if like the studio behind Redfall shuts down. Was Arcane Austin, I think it was. Like, they got shut down, but they also made Redfall, so it's not entirely unexpected. But like, when Tango Gameworks makes Hi-Fi Rush, critically acclaimed, supposedly sells really well, and they get shut down at the same time too. Like, what even? why even bother? What is the point in making a good video game if you can't even secure your own job?
Yeah.
Well, it hurts morale too. So you're going to cause other studios to not do as well because they're not sure what's going to happen and fall in under what the higher ups really want and push for, like the live services, which then ends up just tanking them anyways. It's just
Yeah, because it's like, think about a game like Redfall, right? Like Arcane, they make really good games, right? Like even when I shat on Redfall, I shat on Redfall for what it was as a product. As a game, I think Redfall was the perfect example of like a live service release, or not live service. It was like this online tied release that probably started off as like a really fun like single player game in the same vein as like one of my favorite games that they made is like, have you guys ever played Prey?
Yeah.
At all?
Yes.
Yeah. Prey is an amazing Arcane game. It's like, oh man, System Shock 3 isn't out, but at least we get it in Prey, right? Prey, awesome title.
Yeah.
They made, I played their worst game, technically, Deathloop, which I still really enjoyed a few days ago. So Arcane makes good stuff. Dishonored, it's just that this one game, I'm pretty sure at some point in development, they were probably nudged to make it more co-op friendly. Like, hey, make a game that people just want to keep playing repetitively because it's a game you play with your friends, right? Which is not the Arcane wheelhouse game. They're more like the last developer that kept the immersive sim kind of alive and functioning. So, all these big companies that want to make live service stuff, whether it be Sony, whether it be Microsoft, I don't know if Nintendo has many live services, but they just want to, again, create a game that makes $1 billion a year.
Yeah.
They want to create something that like you subscribe into, and then you also spend money in the in the game storefront, right? Like I've always kind of said, I'm like, load up any big live service, or load up any of these live services that get shut down, or like they're these companies like they put hundreds of millions of dollars into. Go into their main menu and just see how much of a monetization scheme they have. Like Call of Duty, we played Black Ops 2 when we were younger. Game was nice. Game was a single player, multiplayer, zombie filled experience. Load up Call of Duty now, just Call of Duty. I mean, that's all it is. It's just like a hub. And then it's just a hub that's filled with fucking what skin to buy, what $40 skin to get for your, Call of Duty Warzone, like, or the flavor game of that year. It's like you load up these video games. They don't even feel like video games. They just feel like other stores for you to log into. Like I went from the Xbox store to the COD store. I went from the Xbox store to the GTA Online store. It's like less of a game. And then when the gamers don't attach to it, can you really be that surprised? I think we have just a whole bunch of business graduates who like look at video. They probably saw the success of mobile gaming, obviously. They're like, how do you translate that to like console PC gaming? And it's not a good transfer because fundamentally the market that plays the gacha, like the microtransaction ridden free to play stuff on phones almost never touches the actual like console gaming or PC gaming side of things, right? But they're trying to fuse that in some weird way. And the whole industry suffering for it because you have a whole bunch of unattached business experts that don't really get what gaming is or don't understand why people or the type of gamers that are on the PC or consoles.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead, James.
It's about milking them, really. Like you get these business guys, C-level execs that get in, and then they just want to from other areas too. Like look at Unity. Unity tanked hard. The
John Rizzatello from EA coming in clutch to ruin it.
Yeah. Man.
It's just going to keep on happening.
Do they ever recover from that?
Yeah.
I think they've recovered, but at this point it's like, you got Godot that siphoned as much as they can out of it, and then like Unreal will always be Unreal, so there's still not much of a competitive front, or at least too many players in that game.
They killed their progress because they were really good for especially indie studios, and I really think they killed a lot of ill will with them, and so they're gaining some back. But I think they lost so much that we'll see what happens with Unity.
Yeah. Like a lot of companies that used to a lot of indie studios that used to use Unity for their games have like switched to Godot. Like Slay the Spire 2 is going to be in Godot now. And they're promising it's going to be way better than Slay the Spire 1.
Which is already a good game.
Which is already it's like one of the like giant genre-defining games of like this like last generation, I think.
Yeah.
And
So-
now everyone wants to be Slay the Spire. But anyways,
Yeah, I think it's important to actually highlight what Raphael here says. He says, I think Game Pass is an unsustainable model that has been increasingly damaging the industry for a decade, subsidized by Microsoft's infinite money, but at some point reality has to hit. I don't think Game Pass can coexist with other models. They'll either kill everyone else or give up. And like, I think that is very prescient, because I think that you can only have one Game Pass style thing where every person is subscribed, every gamer is subscribed to Game Pass. And that's the only way that this is sustainable. And Microsoft's infinite money, I feel like the writing is on the wall. Like, there is no infinite money pit for Game Pass anymore. Like, the fact that they're closing so many studios just tells me that they're like, their bean counters are done with this, right? It just doesn't seem sustainable, and I think Microsoft knows it.
I mean, I think they were just like, when you buy a company like Activision Blizzard, for how much was that acquisition? Like 10 billion?
I thought it was like
I think
70 billion.
No, fuck, it was way more. Yeah, 70 billion. I'm thinking of like another acquisition, but when you buy like something for $70 billion, the largest acquisition that Microsoft's ever made, and arguably it's probably not the most value adding acquisition, because, you know, you have companies like Skype that probably mattered a whole lot more for Microsoft at the time. When you have like all these acquisitions going off, yeah, the bean counters are going to come harder, because now you're the division with the largest, you know, largest expenditure. So it's like, how do you justify it, right? Like, and one of the things that I thought that they were going to do, and I'm pretty sure they legally fought for this, is to have like Call of Duty be a full Xbox exclusive, or lock things down to the console exclusivity side. But they didn't do it. They just were like, all right, we'll make everything super open. Everything will be the status quo. We're just the company that I guess owns this IP. You know, we're just a company that owns Call of Duty, but we're not going to make it in any way where it's like actually exclusive, or we won't actually provide anything. In fact, if anything, for the Xbox side of people, which probably weren't a heck of a lot of buyers, we'll just make the whole game subsidized for them, or we'll release it completely for free. There's people that I know that would buy Call of Duty every year as if it was Madden. And hey, for a while, I was one of those guys too. I had friends that were just playing COD. Haven't bought a Call of Duty game since, fuck, what was it? Modern Warfare 1? Yeah, 2019. No, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. The one that came right after it. And there's just never been a reason to. It's like, now it's all on Microsoft. When they announced that, what, Black Ops 7 or 6? Which one was it? 7, I think? Who cares? It's on Game Pass. You'll play the single player and be done with it. It's not like the multiplayer's worth wasting your time on these days. So, yeah, it's a model that just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Release your high marquee profile games, like these hundreds of millions of dollars of investment, and just sell them for like, what, $20 at best a pop? What's the cheapest sub on a Game Pass? Like, I think it's $13 a month? Not like Game Pass Ultimate or something. I think Game Pass Basic is probably less. But yeah, just doesn't make really any sense. Like, even with like Sony has a subscription model too, but they're not releasing Death Stranding 2 or like Ghosts of Yotai or anything in their like current year subscription on that model. I don't even think you can get like Spider-Man 2 on the Sony subscription model as of now. And for Nintendo, it's just online multiplayer and like old games. So I don't know why Microsoft went this route.
To be fair, like, it's the best bang for your buck if you want to go with one of the services. It's just,
it's great for consumers.
They're gonna have to up that price, and hopefully they don't do some really weird shit where they just only do a Netflix style, service where you can only get it through a subscription for some of these games for a while. Hopefully we don't see some exclusives.
I really feel like I think that's what's going to happen, because look at how they've been treating physical media. I think we're going to get to a point where like they'll be locking games behind Game Pass. Like, unironically, you will not have the option to buy these things on, maybe on, I don't know, even on Steam. I think if that, like, because you got to think about, like, the bean counters probably would find that to be an amazing thing. Like, imagine, right? Like, all of a sudden, like, Call of Duty isn't available to be bought except through a Game Pass subscription, even on, like, PlayStation or, like, Nintendo or PC. Yeah, those numbers are going to go up. And people will be paying a premium price just to get access to, I guess, COD each year,
Yeah,
or any other
it's
big popular game.
Big turnoff. You're gonna have to like StarCraft 3 is gonna have to be what gets me onto something like Game Pass. like that.
Dude, just imagine if they did that. Imagine if that was an effect, and you had like Elder Scrolls 6 by that time.
I'd have it.
That would be like, that's a shitstorm waiting to happen, to be honest.
But it's a shitstorm that, like, you know, gamers will just buy because it's Elder Scrolls. How can you not buy Elder Scrolls? How can you not get into it?
It'll be good content, but you're going to be buying it.
Unless the game sucks, it is. Unless the game sucks like Starfield, it is. But,
people still buy. I saw the dumbest defense of Starfield. It's like, Starfield was the most overhated game. I'm like, buddy, you clearly were not playing it when it came out.
Sounds like a Twitter post.
It was probably me. I like Starfield. Okay, I never beat it though.
You see, that's the thing. It's like I never fucking went through the whole like beating it either. I really I got like all the way through all the side content, got like all the way to the end, just didn't do it. And then I played like the expansion material, and I'm like, man, they could have just done this in such a better way. It's just a shame because I really had a lot of high hopes for that. I was like, man, a new IP from Bethesda, come on.
It had so much potential too. The side missions are so boring afterward. Like they're so repetitive. They're like definitely generative to where there's no soul to them. I got so bored
with
of
all
it.
the money they're putting into like Copilot and shit, like how much money do they put into like 80 billion into that? Bro, you're gonna see a lot more of the AI generated shit in upcoming Xbox like first
To be
party
fair,
stuff.
It would have been better than what we got with those side quests.
There's only one side quest in that game that I enjoyed. It was like the Crimson the Crimson Pirate one. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. That was interesting. And then even then, I remember like I don't want to spoil anything for the audience member watching, but like there was the heist on the ship, and I was like, I thought that would have been way cooler than it actually was. And I'm just, now that I keep remembering every single aspect of that game, I'm like, man,
it just makes you more mad.
It drives me insane how they ruined it.
It is what it is.
I guarantee you that game probably was like a ZeniMax online game at some point. How barren the content is, like how like MMO like the side quests feel.
Like it would be much better if it was like co-op in some weird way. At least you'd be talking with someone.
Well, speaking of Game Pass, have you guys played the newest malware drop on it?
Call of Duty World War II.
Oh boy, I love that,
God.
dude. That story. I wish I could make the video on it at time, but they shut down the servers long before I could ever talk on it.
Damn.
But like, so for anybody that doesn't know, dude, this World War II stuff, you guys have obviously been following it, but like, man, this is a story that's been brewing for so long, because I did talk about this problem when it came to the older Call of Duty games. So this has been an issue with COD since, I want to say, Modern Warfare 2 on PC. So RCE attacks have been a thing since then. And what's funny too is like when this story was kicking off, I went over to my brother's and he was playing Black Ops 3 on his PC, and he had to use like a fan-made, community-made patching tool to get the game to function in a way where he wasn't exposed to an RCE attack.
Oh my god.
I'm like, when the biggest company in the world, Microsoft, when like the biggest publisher lets this shit constantly fly, and it really requires the game developer, when it requires the community to put like patches together for it, why? Like how do they, and it's crazy because they took it down and like they were just straight up saying like, oh, this is like a minor technical issue. I'm like, a minor technical issue where people can run like remote code on your system? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Dude. Like even From Software. Dark Souls 3 had an RC exploit too, but even From Software, who's notoriously not great at PC ports, they took their game down for a while. They fixed it up, and then they patched that and they brought it back. But like Activision has experience with PC ports. I mean, God, like Call of Duty's been on PC like since Call of Duty 1 or whatever. And you tell me that they couldn't fix this or like go back and like fix it, like
it's funny too because it's like remember like with what Video Games Europe has said too. It's like it's just unfeasible for a big AAA like company, for big companies to like imagine having private servers and exposing people to malware and exposing people to like failures like this. Dude, this is happening underneath Microsoft. This was happening, and like the example I brought up with Black Ops 3, when it took the community to put together a community patch to fix your game while it's still accessible and live.
Yeah.
Bro, these companies don't care. They don't give a shit.
The game was recently added to PC Game Pass, right? And it like and that's the version that is currently vulnerable. Is there vulnerable ones in the Steam version of the game? I don't know.
I believe the Steam versions were also vulnerable. I may have to check that again, because the RCE stuff was existing again in like MW2, like old MW2, Black Ops. Like a lot of those games were like kind of you should not have played those games at any given moment without fan patches or through like private servers like forgetting the name of it, but Activision took them down.
Ooh, zoom in. I want to see what that guy said.
I forget the name of it, but there were like private server solutions, Plutonium or something like that, where you could just go and like play Modern Warfare fan patched with all the stuff removed and upgrades added down the road. But yeah, you should never have played the original versions of these games for years, because these exploits were never patched by Activision.
Marky Mayer just RCE'd your ass. Please contact Mitchell Silberg and NUP LLP.
Wow.
Man.
That's wild. Dude. And so these were known vulnerabilities, and they added it to Game Pass anyway?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Talk about, dude, yeah, like the absolute, like, grandiose bullshit of the gaming industry, where it's like, you can't trust private servers, like you were saying, Mutahar. Like, that's just insanely stupid. Like, they're so...
And they were the only ways to preserve it.
Oh my god. Like, I would trust a fan-made patch from, like, known people in a community of gamers more than I would trust any of these companies. Like, oh man. I watched, you know what's funny? I actually, before I got on the show, I watched a code review of the Thor, what's his name? The
Pirate Software, yeah.
Pirate Software. Like, I watched someone review his code, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is unbreakable DRM." And the guy that was reviewing it was like, "Here are 8 ways I can break this DRM in 3 minutes." And it was like some of the, and he at least he says he's like a 20-year veteran of the games industry, and his code doesn't pass like junior dev muster. You know, it's like, how can we trust like the gaming industry? Like they cut corners and the budgets are so low, and the people, I'm not gonna say everyone, but like 20-year veterans don't know how to pass like junior grade tests for coding. It's like, what are we doing with this industry?
I mean, like I think with like the whole Pirate Software stuff, it's like, and I just hate to like constantly like twist a knife in, or like, you know, get into like the code drama for it, but to be fair, it's like, you know, this is a guy that, like, I remember the first thing I heard that kind of rubbed me a little bit weird was like when he said that he was at like Blizzard, and like he wrote they worked on solutions to get rid of like all the bots or something, and I'm like, bro, what universe are we talking here? Because last I checked, still to this day, all the Blizzard games are filled with bots. So evidently this was never pulled into the actual like chain.
Yeah.
But when I was looking at his code, it's like I to an extent, like, I'm not a game developer or anything, so I wouldn't know like the logic around, because coders in different fields have different aspects of like, or different ways of how they like write stuff. But when I saw like his stuff, like somebody posted it to our Reddit, and like somebody like brought it up, like I saw the Coding Jesus video about it too, and even the DRM stuff, and to me it's just like, there's a lot of ego and bravado to be like publicly coding and having all of these like insanely long arrays and switches and thinking that it was good. Because once like a real like programmer, like once a real like developer looks at, even if you're like a first year like CS1 student, like a computer science student, it's like you'll look at that and be like, there's so many better ways to handle it. It's like that one game, Yandere Simulator, right? Like take all the exterior drama out of it and just look at the coding. And like you'll realize, oh my god, this is why the game runs like shit. It's because it's programmed so weird. You know, there's no Go ahead.
Dude, just the nested switch statement is wrong to me. Like, if you have two switch statements inside of each other, or if you have one switch statement inside another, that's just wrong. You're doing it wrong. I don't know about you, James. I think that just seems wacky beyond belief.
Yeah, no, it's technically wrong. You'd probably set it into another function, but yeah, these are stuff that you learn in college or boot camp or whatever. Like, that's where you make the mistake, those types of mistakes, not 20 years in or 15 years or even 1 year in.
And the reason I bring this up, right? Like, he's a 20-year veteran of the games industry, right? So it's like, is this the kind of like code smell that we want running in our, running
Gardiner.
game? What?
You said 20. Are you talking about Thor being a 20-year developer?
That's what that's what he says.
Oh, I thought you were saying the other guy was a 20-year
no.
game developer.
No, Thor. Yeah. So, but like, do we want like that level of like what seems to me amateurish coding? And I'm not saying all game developers are like that, but do we want them running our games that are connecting to the internet? Do we want them having the code in our kernels? Like I don't trust that shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of
I mean, that's like the most logical way to kind of look at it too, because a guy like Thor or whatever, and the brief talks that I ever had with him were just talks about like cybersecurity, very brief conversations. Because I remember one time I hit him up about like kernel level anti-cheat, and it was just like a 1 or 2 message thing. Kernel level anti-cheat, a lot of people dislike. I know that Thor dislikes it. And I know that like most people that understand computer security like dislike it 100%. But it's just one of those things that we're overall the gaming industry, when you're trying to communicate to like a group of people that have no idea what ring levels are, have no idea what kernels are in general. It's like the easiest way to like gaslight them into thinking that no, this isn't that big of a deal and you need this to make your gaming experience super duper awesome. And then down the road, because I've always said when one of these things gets compromised, and we saw this happening, like I don't know if you guys remember what happened with Genshin Impact, but one of their drivers, right? They were able to take they were able to take them, I think it was a MyProt 2, they were able to take their driver. Didn't even need to have like Genshin Impact. They took their signed kernel driver and were able to do like the nastiest things with them. So, these are people that I'm not going to like judge their coding or whatever. Like, I'm sure if you look through some of my projects, we would all be able to like criticize each other and roast one another.
Boys.
But these are people that are writing the most commercial grade software. And if you're making that level of a mistake, do I really want your code on my computer running, knowing now how bad things can get with things like World War II, Call of Duty, where like you still have these unmitigated RC exploits running around, right? Or sometimes you have a DRM solution that just completely opens the pathway for exploitation at some point down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, they should at least hire an external like company to do some validation on security. There's a lot of them that do this. And when it comes to security level, you don't really want a game developer. You don't need a game developer. You need a security developer, someone that's their job, that understands the security level of stuff. You don't need to understand how to write C++ game code on, whatever it is. Like you gotta. There's different levels, and I don't know. I just don't trust them. I don't trust that they know what they're doing to get the right people to create these low-level
The problem is, too, is like you're also asking them to hire people that charge dramatically more than game developers, right? Like, the moment you start going like, okay, you go from like a game development team, right? And these people are severely underpaid for the level of effort they put into, the stuff that they write. But then you go to like, the cybersecurity analyst, you go to like a cybersecurity team, all of a sudden your costs have just jumped up astronomically. So now in the game development industry where your costs are already so high, are you willing to have a dedicated security team? And are you willing to see that like, do you think that that's justifying your cost, right? Like that's the question that a lot of these C-suite guys will ask. So really, like you're asking these people to out of the kindness of their own hearts, think that maybe we should find a way to like think of the security of our user base. bro, they don't care about the user base.
No.
We're fucking little piggies. That's all that matters. If a company like Microsoft gives no shit towards protecting the user from like these RC exploits, I could not imagine a company like EA or Ubisoft to even think twice about this stuff.
Well, that's one of the reasons that I think like so many of the big like publishers don't support Linux, is because you want to pay someone who has the expertise to optimize a Linux client. That's going to be twice or three times the salary of your standard run-of-the-mill game developer. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. James, what were you going to say?
Well, even with Linux, one thing that I want to say is like one of the things that I keep the things that I keep seeing mentioned, and I feel it's a bit of a misinformation, is like, why don't we just tell developers to enable anti-cheat for Linux, right? And the reason why I always found it to be like a bit like misinformation-y is that, let's say that you're BattleEye, right? Like BattleEye, you can email to them and just tell them to enable BattleEye for Linux. But then conveniently, I always find that people leave out that BattleEye for Linux isn't as deep as BattleEye on Windows, right?
Yeah.
So that level of protection people want, like kernel level anti-cheat, the thing that, you know, the thing they're going for isn't available on the Linux versions of these anti-cheat engines. So just asking a company like Ubisoft or Rockstar to enable it wouldn't be the end-all be-all. It would be hiring somebody that can find a way for Linux anti-cheat to be as effective as kernel level while still, you know, working in the Linux ecosystem. And I kind of had thoughts about this. I was like, what if we had, you know, Valve SteamOS? And one of the things that I'm thinking of is maybe they're finding ways to make SteamOS a signed sort of kernel in a way where it can be validated by some of these big companies. Like, hey, as long as you're running the signed SteamOS kernel, you should be safe from anti-cheat, or like you should be able to run like a Linux compliant anti-cheat, you know, as opposed to somebody that's running like a kernel from like Hannah Montana OS where things have been obviously modified to like some insane degrees. Maybe that's what it'll take. But yeah, you know, it's like you're going to up the cost and like bring more people on to do like a crazy job that, probably wouldn't justify the cost of like all the Linux, like the handful of Linux users that you're going to. I mean, it's complicated. I'm looking at it all from a business and technical sense. So I'm trying to be really charitable to these companies, even though I probably shouldn't be. Really, I just want a solution to go forward. Like, I want Linux to be a place where I can play Rainbow Six Siege and Grand Theft Auto Online. But I just know that it's not as simple as screaming at these developers to like, or publishers to open up support, when I know at a technical sense that there's a lot of under the hood changes that still need to be done from the Penguin's end before these game companies can overall support it, you know?
Yeah.
I think a lot of this misinformation came from when Valve initially made the blog post on Steam. They said, well, something to the effect of, you can, like, Easy Anti-Cheat has a little slider where you can just enable Linux support, and that's that, and it just works magically in Linux.
Yeah.
I think now, like, it's kind of a minor thing, but I do think Valve is partly to blame for that.
Yeah, because like in the same board, they should have just been like, yeah, you can enable it, but you're going to get a weakened anti-cheat. And of course, no developer's like, yeah, of course we don't want a weakened anti-cheat. The whole point of this kernel level anti-cheat was to fight off a lot of the cheats that are sitting at the kernel level. And I'm going to just throw a little black pill too to the people out there. Kernel level anti-cheat's not going to do anything to somebody that is using, obviously, DMA-based cheats, like, you know, like a lot of those DMA-based cards that plug into different systems, like those guys are always still going to be completely outside the matrix, you know? So really all this stuff does, I think, is just affect the average common gamer. I don't know, it's so weird to deal with anti-cheat solutions, because I feel like a lot of them really don't target the real cheaters that I see in these spaces.
Now, the big question, though, is, could AI be used as an effective anti-cheat solution?
That would have to be on the server side, though.
Yeah. And that would probably cost more than it'd be worth it, yeah?
They're probably already using some type of machine learning and some side of it, but it is a little pricey. But I think that is... you could get some... As long as they have people reviewing the telemetry and some of the stuff that the AI catches, and not just an auto ban, I think that's the best way to go without doing kernel level, but it's going to cost more.
Well, there
And the thing
was
is, it's like...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. The thing is, it's like, can it also be done effectively in real time, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you ban the guy after they've cheated. If they've already ruined the experience for somebody in real time, that's a lost client, right? Like, somebody's probably not going to play the game again if they're just dealing with cheaters all day, right?
Right.
They could, because there's a lot of predictive movements at bots, and even with certain bots that have come out that they'll try to mimic a human, and then you're going to have AI against AI, but whatever. At least the AI is not against us, but AI against AI, whoever has the most, I guess, the best AI and the most money is going to win that battle, but I don't know.
It's hard.
We're just giving Nvidia more reasons to become the $5 trillion company, boys.
God.
Well, speaking of companies that are or people that are breaking the rules, there are some companies on Steam that are breaking the rules. High tech.
What?
Tell me about this story here.
So, Blue Archive is a gacha game that just released on PC. There's been this very interesting trend of gacha games releasing on PC, on Steam, no less. And they had a little event where they'd give senseis, the in-game name for your character, they would give you rewards if it reached a certain number of Steam reviews. So while it's kind of a minor thing, it also is textbook review manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're giving people an incentive to just go in and like, hey, drop those 5 stars. Tell us how great the game is.
Yeah, so Blue Archive is kind of controversial because of the community. It's a very, how should I say it, Nuxtaku coded game.
What does that mean?
Mutahar can explain it.
Oh, well, look, every time I ever talk to like Nux, it's like he's anti like one of those kind of guys. But if you're talking about like the styling of the characters, yeah, I've never played like Blue Archive, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's like a gotcha thing though. Like that's like a pretty big trope.
So despite the fact that all the character names are Japanese, it's a Korean game, which has some people a little confused. But anyways, that's besides the point. Point is, it's review manipulation. They have since deleted the post, but it still happened. But there was also another game that was mentioned too, that was breaking the rules, not because of review manipulation, but for straight up not disclosing the fact that there was AI generated content.
Was that Alters game? Man, I heard that game was really good though.
I don't know much about the game, to be honest. So from what I understand, one asset was a placeholder, so they are changing that. But I believe the other thing they did was they mentioned that some aspects of the game were localized using AI, and if I'm not mistaken, that should also warrant just being listed in the AI disclosure, no?
Yeah, I mean, Call of Duty did the same thing with like Black Ops 6, where like they had a AI generated like calling cards, or like they used AI to make some of the art materials, but they later had to disclose it. I don't know how Steam, how seriously do they even take that though? Because I feel like I see so much AI shit on Steam, and it's not disclosed.
I mean, if they wanted to make an example out of someone, this is the game to do it, probably. But no. Yeah, I doubt it's going to happen at this point.
The thing is, it's like, I think the way the Alters did the AI was like, they just had like the text in the game, right? Like the little flavor text and like the computer screens. That was all like completely AI generated. I think that's where the whole like moniker came into. Sometimes I even wonder, I'm like, do you think even the company, like when they were releasing the game, knew that AI was used? Like some artist they outsourced to probably put it together, injected into the game.
That's really the difficult thing with AI these days, is that you don't know, like whether it's software development, game development. Some people could be using. I mean, I use AI in my software development, but it's. I think I'd like to see a public solution on this, where the public can just like kind of detect it, like, and enough people report it as, hey, there's AI for this portion, and then it's just flagged as AI. Like, I don't care if people use AI, but it would be nice to know certain games if they're using AI and how much.
Well, you could just do it the old-fashioned way, like Bungie does, and just steal the art assets directly.
Dude, I love me Bungie, man. That shit was fucking... That marathon stuff is a fever dream, dude. When I saw, like... Normally, I was like, man, there's got to be a bigger story. There's got to be one asset. When I saw how much was copied that day, I was like, there's no shot they ended up thinking they were going to get away with this. And they did. Bungie, of all companies, man. Fuck.
Man.
Yeah.
That's crazy too, man. Because that was like the one thing that was universally praised about Marathon. It looked like teenage engineering the game, but then like it turns out the not only like were specific assets stolen, but there's a prevailing theory that potentially the whole art style was just straight up copied and plagiarized too, and led to the little nickname Art Raiders. Reference to another
Arc Ray. Yeah. That's just crazy. Like, man, it makes me wonder, because it's like, how do you not expect to get caught, like, how do you... I remember back when early YouTube, this was like super early YouTube, there was like these Call of Duty guys, these channels, and they were like got into this beef with each other, and it was over like copied video ideas. And like, we're talking some CSI forensic intelligence levels of looking at each other's videos and determining what aspect of the video was copied, yada, yada, yada. And this is a huge thing. And mind you, it's like, plagiarism is one of those things that eventually just gets caught. Like, it doesn't matter. I think it was like H-Bomber guy made that video on plagiarism, and he just like went after like a whole bouquet of creators. And it's just like, when you look at the plagiarism and the depth of it, it's like, yeah, you got away with it for a while, but like, how long did you expect people to not eventually go through and look through the script or be called out? And then to see like a big AAA company do it so blatantly to an artist that they interacted with, apparently. Just
Wow.
Now, here's also the other thing too, is they said they were going to go through and scrub the game out. They were going to scrub like any assets that might have been stolen. They're going to look over everything. But then one has to wonder,
the whole game, yeah.
Would it not just be cheaper just to hire the person, have them be art director?
Yeah. No. That guy really has a leverage then, right? It's like, hire me. And then all this plagiarism you don't have to redo.
That would be the smart way to go. No, what they're going to do is they're going to use... They're going to just on a downward trend of just stupidity. They're going to use AI. They're just like, hey, AI, can you replace all the assets? And then the AI is going to plagiarize something else, so...
No. They're going to plagiarize teenage engineering directly.
I mean, it's funny. Like, when I saw, like, Marathon, and it's, like, all the people who are like, this is such a unique game from Bungie. And I'm like, guys, I can see the exact animation from Destiny 2 inside Marathon. I don't understand what you guys are seeing that's, like, so mind-bogglingly awesome. Like, when I, because sometimes I feel like I'm too cynical about gaming, and it's like, man, I guess I hate everything. And I'm like, no. I'm going to stick to my guns here, okay? That is a reskin of Destiny 2 PvP that I just saw. And I don't even enjoy Destiny 2 PvP, so why the fuck would you think that I would enjoy Marathon in any capacity? Dude, Marathon, like, I was excited because I'm like, I played the original Marathon games again. I was like, all right, let me go. And because I played them back on the 360 a little bit, but then I went through, like, the LF1, like, source ports, and I was like, these are really awesome games. They're fun titles for their time. And then immediately when, like, Marathon is more of that live service shit, I'm just like, okay, well, all the interest just died. Like, the art style is the only thing that made it look cool, but this is just like Marathon in name only, like, bastardize this 25-year-old game franchise just to release another nonsense extraction shooter.
Imagine a timeline where Microsoft didn't buy Bungie, and Bungie remained an Apple-only studio. Could have been the birth of Apple gaming.
No, Apple Arcade's a thing, buddy. Let me tell you, it's a great platform for you.
Okay, Apple Arcade. Okay.
Yeah, Bungie would have been their premier developer.
Would have been their only developer too, maybe.
Yeah. Just imagine Apple buying COD. Apple buying Activision.
Apple is gathering some studios, but they're like, I think the last one was just some indie studio with 2 developers, but they've been.
Oh yeah, that's right. We talked about that studio. Yeah. I don't remember the name of it.
I don't either, but I know that I pay for the Apple Arcade. I pay for the whole package, and that's how I played Resident Evil, I guess, on Apple. But it's okay.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, Apple Arcade has some pretty good games. Like, it has Fantasian, which I heard Linus Tech Tips talk about a lot. I honestly, Linus never like. If you watch Linus's videos, he never strikes you as a JRPG kind of guy, but then he just is.
Oh, Linus has to be a JRPG. Anybody that's played video games as long as any of us has, you probably fucked with the JRPG at some point in your career.
My favorite is definitely Earthbound.
Oh, Earthbound is so good.
Yeah,
So good.
Linus had some pretty spicy takes about Sea of Thieves too. I'm not Sea of Thieves. Sorry, Sea of Stars. Too,
What did he say about Sea of Stars?
Well, all I remember is that he didn't really like it because of the game. The gameplay just wasn't super interesting to him, I guess.
I have a different experience with Sea of Stars. I got ruined because of an investigation I did on that completionist guy.
Oh, no!
yeah.
Wait,
It was like,
wait. What was he involved with?
well, it was like the charity case situation. His like, he had the Alzheimer's charity that just, forgot how to donate money.
Right.
Yeah.
So when
Dude,
I saw
I
him in
remember
Sea of
that.
Stars, I'm like, fuck. Dude, I remember when that story just kind of happened. I was like, when I looked through the filings, I sent that to my accountant, and it's like, my accountant has never, like, CFO of our company, like, she's never, like, written anything. Like, she's very frank of the matter when she's texting, right? Like, it's almost like ChatGPT is writing to you perfect, like, vocabulary. First time in
he's
my life I've ever heard
He's
her
in
text
Sea of
LOL.
Stars. I didn't know this. I didn't know
He was. They patched him out. Of the game.
Oh,
But that was the first time when I sent all that stuff to my account. Like, I sent the IRS forms from their, like, Alzheimer's charity. Only time she's ever written the words LOL to me. I was like, bro, she unironically laughed out loud.
dude, what the fuck? Dude,
She's like,
moral-
did
dude,
you make these up? I'm like, no. Like, I sent her the IRS link, and she's like, no way.
Dude,
But yeah, that was-
rule number one of making video games: don't add real people to video games. Remember Jesse McCree? He was a real guy at Blizzard. I think he was like a Diablo director or something like that.
Oh yeah.
They had to, because of what he did, they had to rename the character. And Jesse McCree was such a perfect fucking cowboy name too. Now, I don't even know his new name. What was like Cassidy, like Butch Cassidy or something like that? I don't fucking know.
Butch
You might
Cassidy.
have.
Capcom cancels lecture on Monster Hunter Wilds optimization amid harassment concerns. All right, I gotta hear the gist of this one here. High Tech.
So when you think of Monster Hunter Wilds, do you think of words like optimized, runs well on PC, anything like that?
Oh, not a Capcom game. Absolutely not.
So I found it super interesting that Capcom had a lecture on optimizing Monster Hunter Wilds, because like, what would the lecture be? Like,
Dude, I made a video just like about the Monster Hunter World stuff, because it's like when I saw how bad, because it's overwhelmingly negative on Steam for a good reason, because this is a game that just runs like shit on everything. So I remember like when I benchmarked it on PC, guys, with the 4090, with everything in place, frame generation, I wasn't even hitting a consistent 60 FPS. And this is on like DLSS balanced, you know? Like maybe if I went to performance and totally destroyed the image quality, sure. But it was not a good PC game. It was not a good experience. And like one of the things you have to know about like Capcom is so they have this RE engine. And somehow it feels like anytime when you make a Resident Evil game, like an enclosed environment, not open world, nothing with more than 4 NPCs on screen at any given moment, it runs great. Absolutely amazing engine. Brilliant. Even ray trace is great. The moment you make an environment slightly larger than a small room, and you have like open world things to keep track of, oh, this thing shits itself pretty hard. Like this thing is...
Dragon's
it
Dogma
is like
2 was like...
Dragon's Dogma 2, that was the best. That was my first locked at 30 FPS game on PC for a while, because I was like, it was so erratic. As soon as I went to the town, I'm like, all right, FPS locked, VSync 30 FPS. It's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. That's when I knew not to get Monster Hunter like Wilds on PC. My brother stupidly buys it on PC, complains about it, and I'm like, homie, this is running at like what, minimum 720p, maybe 1080p on my PlayStation 5. If it's running that bad on my console, like Because I told him, I'm like, homie, we are talking like PS3 era resolutions we're hitting, okay? Why would you even think of buying it on PC? What is wrong with you? You're asking for a bad time.
Has your brother considered buying a 5090?
Dude, he has a 4070, and it's like that. He literally did say that, by the way. He's like, maybe if I upgraded my GPU. I'm like, stop. Okay, no, you're not. You're fine with your card. Why would you even think of it?
Oh my gosh.
He's like, no, if I had the 50s here, maybe this. I'm like, no, remember, because I'm like, dude, back in the day, when you went to somebody's house and they had like a 9600 GT, it's like, bro, you were going to like some kid whose dad worked for NASA or something, you know? He had like the system that could run Assassin's Creed 1 at high. Okay, now you should not need a flagship AI crunching GPU to run a video game, man. It shouldn't even be a requirement. It shouldn't even be a thought.
They need to spend more money on if they're going to run engines, they need to, and they want to use the RE engine, let's say like in Monster Hunter, like they've got to start spending more money on optimizing it, because it's like streaming the textures is a big part of it. They probably don't do that. And there's just so much stuff that they could do that's industry standard that they could probably hire some mid-range engineer to fix, but
You know,
dude,
funny
it's just
funny
it's
story.
Capcom. Go ahead.
yeah.
You know, Dragon's Dogma 2 has a mechanic where if your pawn gets infected with something, like I guess pawn AIDS or some shit like that, and you go to sleep at some point, they kill all the residents in a town, and your frame rate goes up dramatically because of that.
Why would killing the NPCs and reducing their logic increase the frame rate? Like, this is the kind of stuff that you sit in code review, right? Like, you know when you're debugging your shit and you're like sitting in the boardroom and it's like, how is it that the frame rate dropped when you removed the logical NPCs? Wait, it doesn't even make sense.
That's
like,
wild.
They've got to be doing like single threaded, and it's their event loops really high.
yeah, it's like you have to sit there and it's like, dude, it's like, okay, well, let's crack open the code book for a minute, boys. Let's see how we designed this down. Because at that point, it's like what you've done is not bad optimization. You've done something that should belong in an alternate universe of bad design, right? Like, what did you do? now I really want to debug it.
Dude, man,
these
it's
games
a
are
shame.
optimizing for Nvidia to have a $4 trillion valuation.
Dude,
That's what they're
it's
doing.
a shame
They're
too,
optimizing.
because Dragons. I actually like the gameplay, like the combat. You know, the game, the moment gameplay. And Dragon's Dogma 1 Dark Arisen is actually really good. I probably should have recommended that during the sale, but it's too late now. It's a really good like 360 era open world game.
Yeah,
With,
so
like,
it's a fine Steam Deck game that I've been playing. I really like Dragon's Dogma 1, and I wish Dragon's Dogma 2 ran just as good on my Steam Deck as Resident Evil 2 does, but no. You know, it's funny, too? They also have games that run on cell phones. How is it that they're optimizing for fucking Apple Silicon, but not like the standard x86 shit that they've been hitting?
Man, wake me up when they put fucking Monster Hunter Wilds on your iPhone.
I would buy that solely for the joy of playing the worst, to experience the game in the worst way possible.
Yeah, with like 20-minute battery life too.
Dude,
It's crazy when I saw like Ubisoft announce like Assassin's Creed for the fucking iPhone. I'm like, with Ubisoft tier optimization, this is definitely a buy that I have to go for. Absolutely.
Dude, Mutahar sees red flags and he goes straight at them. It's crazy.
I'll be real. Like, anytime I see the worst way to play a game, I get excited. Like, it really is a joy in my heart. Like, there are times where I have this game store near me. It's like this local game store. They buy all these games from Asia for the Switch. And it's like I go in and I'm like, oh, what is that? Like, it's this PS5 game that they backported to the Switch somehow. Is it all on cart? Okay, I have to pick it up and try it. Because there's a joy. It's like, you know, back in the day when the GameCube and the PS2 had like different versions of like the games released because they were fundamentally different systems. When you played Splinter Cell Chaos Theory back in the 360 or the Xbox, the original, it's like, whoa, this is a glorious, such a good looking game. And then you fucking go to the GameCube and PS2 and it's like, whoa, they really cut this game down to make it run on that device. Whew.
I literally have
really jumped it.
I literally have both of the first two Xbox versions of Splinter Cell on my desk right here. I've been playing them on my Xbox.
You just had them there for this, waiting for this moment.
Yeah. Well, no, I literally have like a stack of my original Xbox games here. I've been ripping them onto my retro NAS setup.
Hey man, if there's any doubt that Gardiner secretly hates Xbox, or dude, we've gotten so many comments about our like anti-Xbox bias. It's crazy. Like, but like it comes from a place of love.
Yeah.
Because
No, it has to. Look, one of my favorite games, I have it right here, No Man's Sky on the Nintendo Switch, okay? This is a game that used to run like dog shit on the PlayStation 4. And somehow, down the road, after so much bullying, if anybody says that bullying doesn't work, bullying Hello Games led, after, 10 years for them to make a fucking version of this game run on the weakest ARM hardware at the time. I mean, that's just glorious to me. That's always the most impressive stuff. Like, I don't care so much when you get your game running on like a 4090, like a 5090. Like, congrats, man. You managed to make it work on a GPU that costs more than anything you could imagine, right? Like, just like a super expensive piece of hardware. But when you get it running on like an Apple Watch or something, right? That's when I'm interested. That's when I'm down.
Cyberpunk's that way. That's exactly Cyberpunk, right? I like Cyberpunk when it first released, but now they're getting it to where they're running it on, I mean, Switch 2 is impressive, but I'm really curious to see where it's going to go with the Apple Silicon.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get running like butter on that, I am super duper ready to. I mean, that's the one port that I thought was going to come out pretty soon, actually. But
it's in a
they've
couple of
announced it
months.
for a while.
They at the end of Apple's little conference, little footnote on the last slide that it's coming out in like a couple more months. So
Do we have to buy it again, or is it going to be like a Steam version that'll also have the Mac port?
They say it's going to be on Steam and GOG and also Apple Store. So I don't think you're going to have to buy it again. I think you're going to be able to play it just from Steam. Yep.
That's the thing that I think sucks about Mac gaming the most is like generally when they release like a Mac port, it's never like also on Steam, or like just because you own the game on Steam, you don't get access to that port. Like some Mac games used to do that, but now it's like I saw Assassin's Creed Shadow had like a Mac version, and I'm like, dude, as much as I'm interested, A, it's a Ubisoft game, so I'm not A, that excited to play it now. And B, I doubt that game is going to run that great on M Silicon. I saw like Andrew Tsai made a video on it, and it was like, he was just like, it's a real bad port. Like, it's really bad. And I'm like, his tolerance for shit gameplay is way higher than mine. And if he's saying that's bad, it's gotta be bad.
Dude. But imagine being able to Spartan kick like samurais out, like, dude, there was this one clip we saw. It was like I don't know what, dude. It was like Yasuke, I think his name was. It was like kicking like dudes through walls. It was awesome, dude.
Yeah, when I saw that, like it's funny because the controversy around that game, like, and I always hate jumping into like the whole culture war side of stuff because it's so irrelevant to like the gameplay that we talk about. When I saw like Yasuke, just like this 7-foot tall like fucking black samurai dude walking inside and kicking dudes off of cliffs, I'm like, I don't even care how outlandish. It's an Assassin's Creed game, okay? It's already outlandish. It's been outlandish since Assassin's Creed goddamn 1. Yeah. I'm playing this just for that like goofy shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, that's what games are. It's definitely a sale game. It's definitely a sale game because you know that without the DLC, that game's story just like ends on the dumbest cliffhanger.
Yeah, I haven't played it, so no spoilerinos. It's got a lot of DRM, but yeah, Ubisoft DRM isn't really it for me.
Yeah. Well, there is that one Sega Genesis game that has like homebrew DRM in it. What's it called? Paprium? Paprium?
So it's a beat 'em up, and so there's this developer making essentially Sega Genesis games, like brand new Sega Genesis games. It's a community of like people. It's a company that's making like homebrew games. So they made a Sega Genesis game with DRM in it.
Man, there's got to be a special place in hell for you. On a Genesis game?
Dude, it came out in 2020, and there's DRM in it. It's crazy.
That's
It's
wild.
Is
Yeah,
it like
so
a
it's-
2020 like Steam game they ended up porting, or is it just like fully on the Mega Drive?
No, it's fully for the Mega Drive. I mean, they made a game prior. They released that on Steam. I think that's called Pure Solar, but this is not on Steam yet. And apparently, some backers have even received their copies, like physical copies. And some physical copies don't run on certain Sega Genesis revisions because there's been like a bunch of those. And
God.
and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it requires a 32x, despite not being a 32x game.
So it
sometimes-
has like copy protection hardware in the cartridge.
Yes,
Wow.
I haven't read too much into it, but all I know is that that's basically it. Yes. And
Did they just spend more money to like protect their copyright than the game was ever really gonna sell? Like, it's a fucking Mega Drive game, man. Like, what?
I don't know, man. But thanks to the magic of emulation, you can now emulate it with some
Yeah.
glitches. It's not perfect yet, but it'll get there eventually.
Yeah, because I was about to say, I'm like, isn't most of the emulation so mature for Sega that like you could just rip this disc and probably patch whatever nonsense? It's kind of like DS emulation, right? Like, remember the days where DS ROMs had to have like crazy anti-piracy methods, but like they were always patched out in a day. You could always patch them out through like Action Replay or like Game Shark or whatever, right? Just so it would be like a memory fix most of the time. So it's like, I don't know what they were expecting here.
Well, the problem is if you have an emulated, if you have like a piece of hardware that isn't emulated and the game like requires that chip to do something, and the emulator doesn't function with that chip, then the game's not going to run in an emulator. So I think that's what's going on here, right? Like that they've started to emulate the hardware that's in the cartridge.
Yeah, it is super interesting though because
Yeah.
it does have add-on like hardware that would make the game like like kind of like what Super Nintendo did as well.
Oh,
Same-
so it's like the what is it, the Super Effects stuff? Like
Yeah.
back in the day for some
like
cartridges?
sort of. I'm not entirely sure because I haven't played this game yet, but what I do know is that in addition to that they do have like it's causing issues with actual Genesis hardware. So like that has to be some sort of copy protection issue.
Oh,
Yeah,
apparently
it just
the-
seems like it seems like they might have tested it on like their hardware, but yeah, with the revision, it might be the way that it reads a cartridge differently that causes their that hardware component they have on the cartridge to not function or like not even be able to like picked up or something. I would imagine.
I mean the game looks like it's up my alley to be honest, but like
Yeah, the game looks nice. It's just your standard arcade beat 'em up.
Yeah, I mean, this one of the links in here says that the chip. I don't know if it's saying that the chip is required to stream MP3 files. That's what it says in this Reddit post here. Which I don't know if that's like that the emulator has to stream the MP3 files, or if the chip is providing MP3 playback on the Genesis. Which wouldn't be impossible, like if you had a dedicated decoder chip on the thing.
Oh, to get the functionality of MP3s, because that doesn't even seem like a thing that the Genesis would have.
Yeah, no, I mean the Genesis is way underpowered, but if you have like a special chip on there, I mean you could put like a RISC-V processor on a board and plug it into your thing if you've got the right code for it.
they've made Super Nintendo games with what they call the MSU1, I think it was. That gives you access to like full FMV videos and like CD quality hardware, CD quality audio.
There was that
Nintendo.
one cool project. I don't know if you guys ever saw it for Super Nintendo, but remember when the guy put ray tracing into the actual Super Nintendo?
Ray
Yeah.
tracing on a Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Look at it. There's like actual ray tracing on like Super Nintendo. Like some guy made a hardware, like a cartridge that allowed Super Nintendo to do like actual hardware-based ray tracing. But it was
But
obviously
surely
like super duper expensive.
But surely it runs like crap, right? I mean, it's ray
Oh
tracing.
no, it runs proper real time. Here, I'll throw it into like the Riverside chat for you guys.
Is this it?
Nintendo.
Oh.
Yeah, Super RT, yeah.
Oh wait, I have seen this.
I've seen this.
Yeah.
There was another guy who like did Super Nintendo emulation on the NES. Did you see that?
What?
No.
Yeah.
What?
Wait, no, how's that? What?
So
How is that possible?
I'll pull up the video. Super.
That's forward compatibility, dude. What? What the fuck? I gotta see that. That's sick.
That would have been cool, like maybe 30 years ago when the Super Nintendo was new, and people didn't want to replace their NESs.
Oh, I don't know if I'm.
Oh, that's
real-
cool. That's cool now. I want to get I want to get a Nintendo just to run the Super Nintendo on there.
I can't find the video, but like the guy, he basically put a Raspberry. He cheated essentially, but he put a Raspberry Pi on a board that plugged into the NES, and then it was
a
streaming.
Raspberry Pi.
But what it was doing was it was in real time emulating the Super Nintendo, and then taking the video output, turning that into tile sets that the NES could then display, because it can't do real time video. But it was pretty neat, like the fact that they were like rendering that in real time
And then converting it to the tile set format for this. That's pretty sick.
yeah.
That does sound pretty sick. I'm curious though. How would you play a Super Nintendo game on an NES? I mean, there's 6 buttons on a Super Nintendo. There's like 2 buttons on an NES.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Nintendo didn't have the L. Yeah, I guess maybe like if you had like combinations or something.
Here it is. Sucker Pinch. He's revert. Maybe he wasn't doing Super Nintendo. I might have got that a little bit wrong, but he's reverse emulating the NES to give it superpowers.
Dude,
Reverse
what?
emulating? What does that mean?
So I must have remembered this kind of wrong, but it's all these graphical glitches. He's like emulating stuff and then generating the tile set and outputting it on the NES.
Yeah, because he just went 3D in one of the stages for Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually looked really cool.
You know what this reminds me of? There was this video by Taki Udon, who's another content creator,
Yeah.
and he was running Linux, and he was running, I think it was Yuzu on Linux, on the Switch, and then it ran Pokemon better than the actual Switch hardware. Somehow.
Wait, so he put Android onto the Switch through Homebrew.
Well, it was
just
Linux, not Android, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he
Oh.
ran Pokemon through Yuzu.
Would that even be emulating though? Considering it's just like, it's just like, you have all the hardware present. How can you emulate the hardware while you're running it on the hardware? I want to see the
I
video
don't
of that.
know,
That's
man.
fucking sick.
So
Here, let me find
there's
out
the Super
what it is.
Nintendo running on it.
See.
That's so impressive. And I imagine like all the visual glitches are just like the tile set format, not 100% appropriating to the video that's being translated. Oh my god.
Dude, isn't that wild?
That's just like, that is, I mean, like it obviously it plays well because the Raspberry Pi is like, it shouldn't have an issue emulating Super Nintendo, but damn.
Yeah.
The visual glitches are kind of like a vibe. Like,
I know,
would,
right?
Yeah.
I would actually fuck with this. I wonder how
On.
much this board probably cost, right? Like, well, he's probably not selling it, but
I found the video. It's technically a MIG switch video, but it shows him playing, I think it was Pokemon, from his cart on Yuzu on the Switch. Yeah.
wait, the mix switch. You can still run that on the Switch too, right?
I think technically you can with an update, but you'll get instantly banned.
So you can run backups of your Switch 1 stuff on the Switch
I
2.
think so.
Okay, well that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
All right. Well, on that note, we've gone off the rails.
Really have, dude. We're looking at Ray Trace Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
Dude, all the best episodes go off the rails.
absolutely. I think this is our best episode so far. Thank you, Mutahar, for being here.
Yeah, thank you,
for
man.
having me, guys. It was great to be on here.
Yeah, it was great to finally meet you too. We've been kind of like interacting in passing
Yeah.
for a couple years, so
Yeah, no, it's good to just be on here. Like, I love talking tech, and I love talking all the nerdy stuff with you guys. And anytime we get to talk Linux and shop, it's always good.
Absolutely. With that said, thank you to everybody for watching. If you haven't already, get subscribed on YouTube. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers on the dedicated episode channel for the podcast here. So we think we can do it with your guys' help. Excellent. I think that's it. Goodbye, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Peace out.
Bye.